All right. Good morning, man. Sorry for the little bit of a late start. Hope everything is going well with everybody. Had to get my cup of coffee this morning and was running just a second behind. Chillville in the building. What's going on, man? How you feeling? Let me get a sip of this coffee. Important part of the morning for me. Get my Java going on. Chillville. Say good morning, my brother. When Crawford pot shots Spence all night, the excuses will start flying. The media will say he's not the same after the crash. All right, man. Chillville, a Terrence Crawford fan, has popped up. That's what's up. Look, man, ain't no excuses gonna be made if that happens, man. I don't see that happening. I mean, he gonna be pot shotting way up close, dog. I mean, I don't know. He's gonna have to fight that guy, man. He's not getting with it. He's not gonna get away with pot shotting him all night. But I picked up this. I just wanted to let you know why I wanted to talk about that before we get into it, man. Yeah, man, y'all need to leave me alone. Stop trying to pick arguments with me, man. Trying to tell you, y'all ain't BFTB. BFTB is my dude and a very good debater, man. Very, very solid, dog. But don't take BFTB's arguments and come try to throw them at me, dog. You will fail. I'm telling you. Every time you get bucked up to come over here and try that nonsense, dog, you get slapped back down, dog. Every time, dog. Every time. So I'm gonna do it today, and I'm gonna wait for whoever. I'm gonna wait for y'all because I know you're listening. If you're listening to BFTB, more than likely you're listening to me, and I know why you're doing it because I listened to BFTB yesterday. Very good presentation as always. But man, let me tell you something. If I say that I want to see the Errol Spence Jr. Terrence Crawford fight get made, and if they can get to 50-50, if they can split that money 50-50, I would love it. Don't come preaching to me about what the percentages are and how many pay-per-view sales people talked about and what you don't care. I don't care what you think, Fannon. I don't care what you think. The numbers say this. Really? You don't care, huh? Good. I'm glad you don't care. But let me tell you something, dog. The numbers is not what gets negotiations done. You got to agree. It's an agreement. There is no percentage in a between Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. There is no split if Terrence Crawford says no to the fight. It's that easy. Yes, slapping your argument down is that easy. If Terrence Crawford can go somewhere else and make money and be happy with it and not fight Errol Spence Jr., then Errol Spence Jr. gets 100% of nothing in that fight, and he does not get the belt. Terrence Crawford does not have to fight Errol Spence Jr. There is nobody going to mandate. The WBO is not going to mandate that because they're not going to mandate an undisputed unification. They're not going to. The fact of the matter is both people have to agree to that fight. And that's true. And there's a value associated with that fight. And what is going to happen is they're going to sit down and talk, hopefully, and they will agree on how to split that. You can look and say, well, this is a fair way to look at it. I did this amount on my pay-per-view. You did that on your pay-per-view. I do this type of gate. You do that type of gate. And you can come to an agreement. If you did that, Errol Spence Jr. would get the lion's share of that money. That still does not trump what Terrence Crawford has in his pocket, which is no, I don't want to do that. It's an undisputed fight. Everybody knows me. I haven't had the opportunity to fight the guys that you've had opportunities to fight. And more importantly, I think what I deserve in this fight is X. If I don't get X, then I'm not doing the fight. Please please. I go back, go to my channel, put wherever you want to put it in there, and tell me how you gonna get around that. This ain't Sean Porter this isn't them getting, ordered for a fight where there's some mandatory where Terrence Crawford is a mandatory or the fight is being mandated by somebody. It's not. They're going to have to agree to a fight. They're going to have to agree to they're going to have to agree. And that's all I said. is I hope that they can agree. And honestly, man, if I was Terrence Crawford, I'd want more than 60-40. Why wouldn't he want more than 60-40? That's the biggest fight of either one of those dudes' career, and it is big because it's Terrence Crawford. And that's a fact. It's big because it is Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. Now, if you guys are arguing that it's not that much bigger than any other fight that Errol Spence Jr. has, I would say I think you're wrong. And I think that the man deserves the money, deserves to be paid fairly. Crybabies. Don't bring BFTB's arguments to me, man. Even though it's a very solid argument. I've made the same argument a bunch of times. When Bud said he should get more than 50-50 or the 50-50. It's like if you're going to try to get 50-50, the fight's probably not going to happen. If he tries to get 50-50. Because there's not a strong argument for it. You know what I mean? There's not a strong argument for it. However, don't come to me with the argument. Please. Because I'm telling you, I already know what the answer to that is. If Terrence Crawford's already setting it up, he's saying no to the fight. Errol Spence wants undisputed. If Errol Spence Jr. if Terrence Crawford beats Shawn Porter, he's going to need Terrence Crawford to do that. So if he wants to do it, he may have to acquiesce to something. He may not. He may say, no, that's it. I'm walking away. Terrence Crawford may turn around and say, yeah, okay, well, I'll take it. He may. But you don't know until those guys actually negotiate it, because it all based on the value that the other person puts on it. And my understanding is that Errol Spence Jr. is pretty easy, is not a difficult person to negotiate with. That's my understanding, because there's a lot of stuff that Shawn Porter put on the fight between them that Errol Spence didn't want to do. But he was like, look, man, the fight would have been made a lot sooner if Shawn Porter didn't play hardball in negotiations. But Shawn Porter played hardball in negotiations, and he got pay-per-view, because I don't think they originally wanted to put it on pay-per-view, something like that. You know? Anyway, Giovanni Walker in the building said, let me say what's up to everybody. I had to get that off my chest this morning. I'm like, man, y'all don't get bold over there. You know what I'm saying? Don't get bold. I don't care what you think. It's not based on what you think. Dude, negotiations are based on what people think. Yeah, they are. If you think it should be based strictly on past numbers, that's what you think. That's not always the case. When Deontay Wilder fought Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder gave Tyson Fury 50-50. And Tyson Fury hadn't fought anybody of note in 2 years and had never had a big fight in his life. And Deontay Wilder, because he wanted to make the fight, made it a 50-50 fight. They also didn't have to agree that the winner of the second fight gets 60-40. He didn't have to agree that. He could have said, no, the winner of the second fight gets 50-50. We don't care. 50-50, 50-50, 50-50. Could have done that. Deontay Wilder did not have to make it so that Tyson Fury earned more money in that trilogy than he did. But he wanted the fight, so he did it. There was nothing sitting behind. There was no prior history of Tyson Fury's to justify doing that in the numbers. It's because either Tyson Fury said that's what he wants, and Deontay Wilder acquiesced, or that's what Deontay Wilder offered, and that's what Tyson Fury accepted. One of it. But there are definitely occasions of cats getting paid. And also, just to let you know, the Floyd Mayweather Jr. Oscar De La Hoya situation was just like that. Oscar De La Hoya didn't want to fight Floyd Mayweather Jr. and had been turning down Floyd Mayweather Jr. for years. Said no to that fight a bunch of times and then said yes. Oscar De La Hoya could have said no. Floyd Mayweather Jr. needed Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya didn't need Floyd Mayweather. Didn't need him. So how do you determine who needs who? It's just based on what the how one person values it and how another person values it. Now, what I'd like to know for the people that come to my chat nagging me about it, and I'm saying this ain't nobody's shots at BFTB. That's my guy. I love, great channel, all that. Very logical, bright guy. Great points and all that. But what I want to know from y'all coming over here bugging me, not using his arguments very well, by the way. Y'all need to let him make those arguments. Y'all kind of suck at it. Is what's wrong with me wanting to see the fight? Seriously. Why do I gotta care why do I gotta care? I can talk about it, but why do I gotta care that Errol Spence Jr. makes more money than Terrence Crawford in that fight? What difference does that make to me as a boxing fan if I don't get to see the fight? It's literally really a fight I want to see. So I'm thinking that some of y'all may just not really want to see the fight. Some of y'all that are calling yourselves Errol Spence Jr. fans and making all this nag about who's going to get this and that, maybe y'all just don't think he can win the fight and don't want to see the fight. Because I don't see any other justification for you guys going on my chat like that. I don't see it. I want to see the fight. Give that dude $100 million. Give him $100 million. I'd be happy. What are you going to do? Oh no, he can't get $100 million and he get $100 million. I need Anthony. I need for Terrence Crawford to get 180 and I need Errol to get 120. Hey, what difference does that make to you? For real. What difference does it make, man? I'm telling you, man, y'all, when y'all do that, you really do make it sound like you don't think Errol can win. Because I don't think you guys would care if it was somebody he was walking through. But anyway, please, again, don't come to me please do not rehash BFTB's arguments and come to me with them. I'm seriously, you're going to get slapped down. I listen to his show. I hear his argument. And in the back of my mind, I always think, how would you counter that? How would I counter that? Because it's fun to do that with somebody that is an intelligent person that comes very, very prepared. Okay? That ain't what you bums are. Okay? You just listening to what he says. If he and I had a conversation, he would acquiesce to that point. Hey, you're right. Yeah, you're right. It does. Hey, if he says no to the fight, none of it matters. Exactly. Hey, man, you want to go get a beer? And I don't drink beer no more. See, that's how the conversation would go. But y'all trying to weapon up over there and come over here. Easy money, dog. Donovan, man, said, hey, changing my screen name to Donnie54. That's what's up, man. I got you. And what if Crawford knocked Porter out? Crawford knocked Porter out? I mean, I don't know what you mean. What if he knocks him out, he knocks him out. If he wins the fight, I've already told you, if he wins the fight against Sean Porter, if he knocks him out, I still think the fight's going to go like the fight goes. I still got Errol Spence Jr. beating him because of the pressure. It's a style thing for me with Errol and Terrence Crawford, man. Terrence Crawford's going to have to deal with somebody in his chest for 12 straight rounds, man. I'm telling you. And they're both great athletes, and I'm an Errol Spence Jr. fan, you know? However, I'm not going to sit up here and try to hold back Terrence Crawford's money. I'm not going to do that. Let that man let that 50-50 pop off and let's get this fight going on. As long as Terrence, and even if I don't care if Errol said, all right, you have 55, I'll take 45. We'll do a rematch clause. I get 70-30 in the next fight. Winner gets 70-30. I don't care how they go about doing that, man. As long as they get in there and they get that fight. I'm telling you, I got no idea how much money Shakur Stevenson got for beating Jamel Herring. Oh, I take that back. I do know. Much love in that super chat, though, by the way, man. Thank you for the support. Also, Rod a Prophet B1 said, blessings, King. Hope all is well with you and the family. B1, yes, sir, man. All right, Sibian, Nisa Sibian, my channel must be doing well when you go and do stupid shit like that, man. Go away, man. Please, Lord have mercy, man. Stop doing stuff like that, man. Richard Hall said, Team Spence all day. Yeah, man, dude, look, man, I'm a fan of Errol Spence Jr. How can I not be? I met his father. I know his father. I know his trainer. I met him. You know, I'm a fan of that organization because I know that. If I was from Nebraska and I was down with Terrence Crawford, I'd be a fan of Terrence Crawford. I mean, I like Terrence Crawford. Honestly, man, let me say something to you Terrence Crawford folk too. Will y'all read and listen to what people actually got to say? And stop being so goddamn knee-jerky with stuff. Like, man, y'all don't listen, man. Seriously, dog. I could compliment Terrence Crawford's crew for like 9 hours straight. And they would quote me for having said something that somebody else says. Man, them dudes get on my nerves with that, man. I ain't never said nothing sideways about y'all dudes. Ever. And that, I'm telling you. Anyway. Let's keep it positive, man, because I'm a little agitated. Planet 619 said, personally, I want to see the fight. I just always thought the economics would end up being too much of a roadblock. Crawford saying he wouldn't even do 50-50 only reinforce that. Yes, and that's my point, and I'm glad you said that, because that was my point when I brought that up. That is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. When Terrence Crawford said, if I'm not even doing 60-40, I got to make, that's ridiculous. Make the fight, man. Sit down at the table and make the fight. Yeah, I thought that was ridiculous too. When he said it, because the numbers don't hold it up. The numbers do not hold it up. That I will tell you for sure. The numbers don't hold it up. They don't. But however, that's the past numbers. You can have peanut butter and chocolate, dog. You really can. There could be a fact that a lot of people really, what's going on, Dread the Dreads? There could be a situation where, because it's Errol and Terrence, that the fight will be bigger than any other fight Errol can have, and bigger than any other fighter than Terrence could have. People could just be interested in seeing, like, they don't want to watch other Terrence Crawford fights, but a whole bunch of people won't watch either one of them unless they fight. That's kind of that's how those things happen, man. When you get big, when you get a lot of, build up behind fights, and a lot of people want to see fights, dude, a lot of casual folk will come out just to watch that fight, where they may not watch Errol Spence Jr. versus Sean Porter, right? Because they're like, yeah, Errol Spence Jr. is going to beat him. It'll be a good fight, but they may not go to the fight because they may not think it's that big a fight. And Terrence Crawford fighting Kell Brook, they'd be like, we don't care about that for sure. You know what I mean? For sure he's going to beat him, and they may not care about it. But when you get the two together and you get their camps going at you other and all that stuff, it makes for an even bigger fight, man. So those guys can be making, that could be I'm telling you, that shit could be an $80, $90 million fight, man. It could be a much bigger fight than either one of them had, man, because they're fighting each other. You know what I mean? Man, that's bullshit. Tone Money. Oh, Cap, he's the only dude with 2 belts. What cap is it? Where's the lie? He's the only one with the belts, man. You know what I'm saying? Alpha Net Analyst said, first time, good morning, Fannon. Hey, man, thanks for showing up to the chat, man. Look, man. Let me say something, man. Both of these guys are the reason we want to see the fight, man. Both of them. Neither one of these dudes got another guy that they can fight that is going to generate the type of money and the type of interest and the type of respect that fight will get. That is one of the marquee fights in boxing, and that's just the case. Yeah, I mean, dog, they just be talking, man. I'm trying to tell you, the only people worse than cats that hate on Terrence Crawford, can blindly hate on Terrence Crawford, are the people that support him. That's what I'm saying. It's like, God dang, man, will y'all come on? Will y'all come on? Anyway, man, like I said, just don't come to me with that. All right. And this guy shall remain nameless because I watch all his videos, like all of his content, all of that good stuff. But dude was like, I be telling lies on Terrence Crawford. Man, I ain't never lied on no Terrence Crawford. Never lied on him. Ask Bernie the Boxer. I can't tell you how many times I've asked Bernie the Boxer to come on the show. Bernie, if you don't like what I'm saying and you don't think what I'm saying is accurate, come on the show and correct me. I don't have any problem with that. You know what I'm saying? And trust me, I will ask you fair questions and get what you say out. I'm not going to, man, please. The misunderstanding ain't on my part. You know what I'm saying? You should be able to pronounce what you talking about, man? I should be able to pronounce what, Donnie? 54. I like you say he changed his name. I should be able to pronounce what? Much love in that super chat too, man. Michael Kirkland said, Tone Money, you must be a Crawford fan. Spence the realest dude in boxing. Man, Spence ain't been nothing but real. Okay? Nothing but real. Y'all just, I don't even get it. I'm trying to tell you, dude, I don't have any idea how anybody cannot respect Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. is the guy that is the one guy in boxing that is letting almost nothing stand between him and collecting all the belts. The man comes off of a tremendous accident, goes right in with Danny Garcia, right in with a big fight. Was going in to fight Ordani Zugas before he got that big money offer for Manny Pacquiao. But that was an undisputed, that was a unification, another unification fight he was going for. This man is saying with a torn retina that he don't want nothing but champions. Because if he comes back for a tune-up, that's for people that don't have confidence in themselves. Dude, the only two champions there are is Ugas and Crawford. The man been talking about wanting to fight Crawford, man. But y'all, he don't really want to fight, man. Let me see. Alpha Net Analog said, off topic, I recently saw sparring footage between Haney and Romero. Did you see it? Yeah, that shit was a joke, dog. He was laughing. Seriously, man. When you mean the one where Devin Haney was beating him up and laughing the whole time? Loved it, dog. Love a good sparring mismatch. Yeah, I saw that, man. Man, Riley Romero sucks, man. Come on, man. They can go somewhere with that Riley stuff. You know what I mean? Rolly. Let me say his name right. Rolly, man. Y'all can go somewhere with that Rolly stuff, man. That roly-poly. Roly-poly gonna get rolled up. Yeah, I saw that, man. Ray Patterson said, good morning, Mr. Martin. How are you today? Coming in a little late dealing with knee pain. The knee pain had a knee replacement. Oh, man, yeah, that's what you told me. Sorry about that, man. Hey, man, whatever you got to do to get that right, man. Get your ibuprofen, whatever you got to get, man, to get that right, man. Jay Styles Boxing. You changed your name, Jay? You changed your name? He said, I don't pay attention to other YouTubers. I have my own opinion. I watch you every day and just started watching other, but my loyalty is with you, buddy. I appreciate that, man. I saw you over at that one dude's channel, though, man. I like that dude. I ain't gonna lie, dog. That dude trolled me. I think it's the only dude that trolled me, right? And I was listening to him. I was like, man, this is another bozo trying to make videos, doing videos with my name in it. Like, man, why don't y'all just make your own? That's not going to grow your channel, dog. I'm telling you, all you do is attract a bunch of trolls, and they're not going to support you, homie. Okay? But anyway, man, that guy is like new media something or other. But anyway, I'll say his name because I listened to him, man. I was like, I like that dude, man. I like him. I don't like when people I don't like the beef between YouTube channels, but that's a smart guy, man. You know what I mean? He's a smart guy. Smart guy, entertaining production, all that good stuff, man. If you don't gotta like me for me to be able to appreciate your skill. And I thought that dude was actually, I think that dude is pretty good, man. So anyway, I saw you over there one day. I saw blood boxing over there. Don't listen every day, but I dip in and I dip out, man. Powerhouse Watson said he heard Thurman was exactly, but not taking no tune-ups, the only difference. I'm not sure what you mean. He's where Thurman was exactly, but not taking no tune-ups, the only difference. Yeah. And also he's not sitting out 3 years. He ain't sitting out 3 years, man. And he ain't had no hand damage either, man. He said, Thurman had surgery when he had 2 belts. Yeah, he did. And ain't nobody cut that dude no breaks. It was vicious on Keith Thurman, man. Vicious on Keith Thurman, man. Powerhouse Watson and Bilson. I don't know. I think Thurman did duck Spence and was just chasing bigger fights at the time. Yeah, he did. He ducked him. Without a doubt, he ducked him. He didn't want to fight that man. He didn't want to give him that shot, but he wants the shot now. And that's where I am. I'm like, look, man, see, I'll be fair. I'll be my best to be fair about it. Like, it doesn't make a difference to me that Thurman ducked Errol Spence, because truth of the matter is, I have bought every Errol Spence Jr. pay-per-view. I have supported every fight he's had. I've done videos on the dude. I've supported him every way I can support the guy. So I don't have no guilt in saying, why don't you just fight Keith Thurman? You've made plenty of money. You got all the belts. How about you let bygones be bygones and you give us what we wanted? Because the only reason I cared about him ducking you was because I want to see the fight. And I still want to see the fight. Make the fight, man. Make the fight. That is going to be a good fight. That's another big payday for you. It's a payday for Thurman. It's an entertaining fight. But, man, cats be holding grudges, man. These boxers be holding grudges. And I ain't the grudge holding type, dog, if we can make money. I'm just going to tell you right now. I don't hold a lot of grudges. That people have done me wrong. And I don't really hold grudges if we can make money. I ain't never going to trust you again. That's for sure. You know what I'm saying? But we can make money together. Why not, man? Hey, dog, It's the life. It's a short work. It's a short life, to a certain degree. If you broke, it's long and uncomfortable. So make all the fights you can make, man. Get all the money you can make out of boxing and go on to live your life, man. Ain't nothing wrong with making some money with Keith Thurman. And ain't nothing wrong with Keith Thurman making some money. Let's keep it there. Tone money. Why Spence don't fight mandatories? He can just hold belts and not unify. He did. He fought Carlos Ocampo, and y'all complained about it. Why you want him to fight a mandatory, man? I thought you said he was ducking. Thought you said he was ducking Spence. If he fights a mandatory, ducking Crawford. He's sitting there unifying belts. If you didn't catch it, that's why he ain't been taking them. He fought Danny Garcia to unify that belt. He was trying to get his hands on Manny Pacquiao to get that belt. Manny Pacquiao got stripped. He was going to fight Ugas to get that belt. But then that payday came. That's the only time, it got sideways. But he wants to fight Ugas next. And wants to fight Terrence Crawford. Why are you in a hurry for him to get in a mandatory? I think you're just trying to find an excuse, man. But he did fight a mandatory. And I wouldn't be surprised if the IBF don't put a mandatory on him pretty soon, man. Matter of fact, was Danny Garcia one? Danny Garcia might have had some mandate to him. I may be wrong because I haven't looked at it in a while, but I do believe that before that Danny Garcia was in line to fight for the WBC belt against Sean Porter before Sean Porter lost to Errol Spence Jr. So really, if I recall correctly, Carlos Ocampo was the IBF. And I think Danny Garcia might have been a mandatory or had some mandatory thing attached to him for the WBC. So I'm pretty sure he did fight mandatories. That would be Danny Garcia and Carlos Ocampo. So the better question would have been, does Errol Spence fight mandatories since you didn't know? You know what I mean? Come on, man. Do your research, man. I hate when people say that. Do your research, man. No. How about you tell me what you want to say? And then, if you enlighten me to a new fact, I will consider it in what we're talking about. And I'll go validate your fact, which 99 out of 100 times ain't fact anyway. Yeah, but I saw that. Oh, man, did I go back alpha net footage? Why are you trying to bring that up, man? Why are you bringing that up? Let me move down here, man. Giovanni Walker said, you're right, but Crawford, which I am a fan of, is more egotistic and being prideful when he say he don't care about fighting Errol Spence Jr. He is. No doubt about it. I agree with that. He says stuff that I think is dumb. Really. I think what he said is dumb. Like, dog, 50-50. Like, if Errol says, I think I'm the 60-40, that's not unreasonable, man. It's really not. It's backed up by sound logic. Errol Spence saying, man, 60-40 for Errol Spence is backed up by very, very, very sound logic, man. It ain't nothing else to that. Now, he may be negotiating to try to get more and just feeling in his gut that he's worth as much as Errol Spence, because that's what it sounds like. It sounds like he's saying, I'm worth just as much as you. I'm a 3-division champion. I'm a pound for pound #1 fighter in the world. I'm worth just as much as you are. I'm every bit and more the fighter than you are, right? And I think that that's the angle that he's taking. Right. And honestly, for a guy sitting at a negotiation table, you have to consider what that guy thinks his value is. And you also got to consider what his walkaway is. Does he have an alternative to fighting you? And the fact of the matter is he's got alternatives to fighting him. Not as many now. Not as many now, though. Now that he ain't got that contract with Top Rank paying him guaranteed money. So that may actually mess up his negotiation, his stance a little bit, because before he could be like, I'll just fight Zepeda. I'll fight Zepeda for $5 million, beat him up and go beat some, but he ain't got that long-term contract no more. So, it just depends on who else he's got. If he can't find a fight, if he winds up in a situation where he can't find a fight, but I think he will. He's got another option in Taylor. They'll probably pay him a bunch of money to go over there to Scotland to fight Josh Taylor. Take his belt and fight over there for Josh Taylor. Fight Josh Taylor. So, that's where I am with that, man. Not saying that BFTB's logic ain't completely sound, because his logic is completely sound and can be backed up by the reason I know it can be backed up is because I did that argument at least a year ago. He did that argument a year ago. That's something he and I agreed on probably 2 years ago. We agreed upon that. That's not even a question. The question is, for me, is how bad does Errol Spence Jr. want to fight? And is Errol going to let a 60-40 stand between him and Undisputed? That's a question for Errol Spence Jr. How much is Undisputed in this fight with Terrence Crawford worth to you? And how much is it worth to Terrence Crawford? You know what I mean? Because you can't fight Terrence Crawford without fighting Terrence Crawford. And if Terrence Crawford got that belt, he got that belt. So now if Shawn Porter beats him, then you know the deal is. It's going to be 60-40 or 55. It'll be something like that. You know what I mean? Tone Money, I like you, man. I'm going to read some more of your, so you don't think I'm being biased against Terrence Crawford fans. Ugas beat Omar Figueroa in a WBC elimination. How was Danny a mandatory? He was not ranked like Porter's mandatory, but Ortiz, because of this, when Keith Thurman was the WBC champion, they gave him two of them. Two mandatories for Keith Thurman. The first mandatory was Shawn Porter. The second mandatory was Danny Garcia. Under the WBC rules, when you beat the champion, you inherit their mandatory responsibilities. So when Shawn Porter won that vacant belt, he won because they vacated it. And they let those two fight. Oh, no, you might be right. Yeah, you might be right on that. Because that was after that. I'm not sure. I'll check that out. But I'm pretty sure that that's the case, though. Or that no. Yeah, they fought for the vacant belt. They fought for the vacant belt. Those two fought for the vacant belt. It might have, yeah, you're probably right. I don't think I was right on that. You're probably right. Because I forgot that Danny Garcia and Shawn Porter both fought each other for the vacant belt. Anyway, so good point. He may not have been a mandatory, but Carlos Ocampo's a mandatory, so sorry, fella. He does fight mandatories. Carlos Ocampo. So if you'd like to go check Carlos Ocampo, go check Carlos Ocampo. As far as what the WBC does, who knows? The WBC will make you fight a mandatory, will not make you fight a mandatory. They change their mind. They change their mind depending on whatever, man. But he definitely has a mandatory under his belt, man. Let me slide down toward the end here, man. What are you talking about? He's not beating Porter, so it's not going to matter. Yeah, okay. True Blue says that Danny was a mandatory. Thank you very much. Hey, man, my recollection is that there was some mandatory related to that. Because it's strap season, man. We know Terrence fights his mandatory. But I want to know all of a sudden, why is fighting mandatory some signal of you being a champ? You know what I mean? Tone Money, Ocampo was ordered to fight Ugas. No, man, so what? So what? That was his mandatory. You can't get out of that by bringing up some irrelevant point. Aunt Fannon, man, hey, Avery. Goodbye. Nice meeting you, Avery. And may the good Lord may lightning bolt hit you, with the good Lord split you. Anyway, let me try to be nice. Goodbye, man. I don't know why y'all want to walk in here with insults, man, because you're stupid. Come up with something clever, man. Talk some boxing or something. You know, Aunt Fannon. Dog, I wouldn't know what you was talking about if I didn't realize y'all young cats still now calling older dudes uncle. I appreciate that, though. Fligo says strap season is slowing down for Spence because of Ugas mandatory. Now he's just going to have to go straight for Errol. He's going to have to go for Terrence Crawford and Shawn Porter winner. But I'm going to tell you, man, right now, dog, I'm kind of sitting on that. I'm just assuming that Terrence Crawford win when I'm talking about this subject. Okay, because I think Terrence Crawford's going to beat Sean Porter. I think it's going to be a very, very good fight, but I got Terrence Crawford in that. I got Terrence Crawford in that fight. I'm glad that he made the fight, so I don't got any more beef with him. Like all of my beef with Terrence Crawford has left the building. No, he was not a voluntary. He was the IBF mandatory. Shut up, go away. He was the IBF mandatory. Thank you very much. I mean, make stuff up if you want to make stuff up. He was the IBF mandatory. Let me see. Carlos Ocampo. Mandatory Spence. Oh, what is this here? Let's move this up here a little something. Oh, let's move it back. Hold on. There you go. Now, if I'm right, I get to throw you out. So let's see if I'm right and I get to throw you out for lying. Let me share this screen. Share screen. Share. Let me read it in wheat, dog. First sentence. Frisco, Texas. Welterweight world title holder Errol Spence Jr. wanted to dazzle in his first hometown title defense against mandatory challenger Carlos Ocampo. That says mandatory challenger Carlos Ocampo. Now, Tone Money, say I'm sorry or I'm throwing you out. I'll wait. Say I'm sorry or I'm throwing you out. Say sorry, Aunt Fannon. I was wrong. Or I'm throwing you out. Because you out here just because you just throwing out stuff, man. You just talking, man. You don't pay attention, man. You just talk. Now, isn't it fair? Come on and say it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for talking smack when I'm dead wrong. And we can have a good day, man. He said, "Told Money, my bad for nine." Come on, man. Say you're sorry. Say you're sorry. You guys do a lot of that. Y'all do a lot of that. I'm trying to tell you, you guys out there in La La Land do a lot of that with me. Putting all kind of words in my mouth, making all kind of assumptions about what I say and what I don't say. That boy eating that, man. What? Nothing like I thought. Not even man enough to say I'm sorry, dog. Not even man enough to say I'm sorry. You're right. Come on, man. He said he threw himself out already. Yeah. Go run somewhere. Go by. Like I said, Carlos Ocampo was a mandatory. Anything else? You know what I'm saying? Anything else you would like to tell me that I'm wrong about? That is quickly, easily searchable? You know what I'm saying? On internet. I don't always do screen shares, but I know how to do it. He says, say it. He says, say it. Be a big boy. Big boy. Say I'm sorry. So sorry. I was talking and I didn't know what I was saying. Carlos Ocampo was supposed to be a man. Went through all kind of other stuff about Carlos Ocampo. Man, please, man. Carlos Ocampo was a mandatory, dog, because back when he fought Carlos Ocampo, you guys were just guys like you were just all he does is fight mandatories, and then he'll beat mandatory. He just is a garbage. Who was Carlos Ocampo? You know what I'm saying? He said, "I'll say it for the sucker for nine. I'm sorry." Exactly, Scrubs, man. Come on, man. He should follow your lead. I was wrong, right? Exactly, dude. Just exactly. Yeah, he should follow my lead. If I'm wrong about something, I'm going to say I'm wrong. Look, Donnie, exactly. He should follow my example. If I'm wrong, I will say I'm wrong. There ain't no lifetime. Which one of y'all ain't never been wrong before? Say, dude, you guys are soft, man. I'm trying to tell you, like, up in here, y'all kind of soft. Everybody's wrong at some point in time, man. So why y'all ashamed of being wrong? You don't get, it's like, as soon as you're wrong, you think somebody loses credibility about everything. And man, please. There ain't nobody on YouTube doing videos that has not been wrong about something. Sorry, okay? Never. They've been wrong about something. Now, they may not admit that they're wrong because they don't want to have to deal with y'all, but I don't care. I will tell you, if I was wrong about something, I'll tell you. I'm wrong. Which is why if a boxer's got a problem, dude, all you got to do is tell me. That's it. That's all you got to do is tell me. Matter of fact, there is a trainer, world-class trainer, that sent me an Instagram and said, hey, I don't remember saying that. Can you tell me when I said that? And I sent him the article. I was like, that's where you said it, right there in this article, right? So I knew it, but he said, yeah, but that's not what I really said. That's not what I meant. So, oh, that's not what you meant. Okay, if it's not what you meant, I'll take my video down. No worries. If it's not what you meant. Now, I know that's what you said, but if that's not what you meant, then I don't want to put out something there that's going to say is giving you something you didn't mean. Okay? Because it is possible for you to say something and for somebody to get something off what you said that you really didn't intend to communicate. You know what I mean? So in that case, you fix it. There's nothing wrong with that, man. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm telling you, man, y'all act like if y'all was never wrong, y'all be trillionaires. If you never wrong, then just go, seriously, man, just go play the lottery. One time, homie. Just play the lottery one time. You'll be set. Just keep playing the lottery, man. Mario said, Fannon, WBC IBF champion Spence will make his first WBC mandatory. There you go. He said, will make his first WBC mandatory defense against WBC number 1 ranked silver champion Danny Garcia of the USA and make his mandatory IBF defense next, which makes sense. Thank you very much. So he has 2 mandatories over there. And I wasn't wrong. See? And I wasn't wrong. I apologize when I wasn't wrong. And now I'll say, oops, I'm sorry for apologizing. I was right. Because I was going off of memory. And I was pretty sure that Danny Garcia was there as a mandatory somewhere in that WBC line. Because the WBC gives they'll set up like what they're doing at lightweight with JoJo Diaz and Ryan Garcia to try to get to Devin Haney but with no route whatsoever. With no route whatsoever to get in the franchise championship. He's like, no, the real champion is Teofimo Lopez. Well, does he ever have to fight anybody for the belt? No. So how can he be champion if he don't got to fight nobody for the belt, man? He said, everyone not going to follow logic, not everyone's going to follow grown man logic, man. Nah, man, they be missing it like a mug, dog. You know what I mean? Someone tell me that Stevenosis is the WBC mandatory for EJ. That's wrong. He's the WBA mandatory for Ugas. He's the WBA mandatory for Ugas. It's that Kerstides. It's that guy with the K. Kerr something or other. Kerfluffle. Whatever his name is, dog. The guy that got a very narrow decision against what's his name? Against Sergey Lipinets. I think he fought Sergey Lipinets and he got like a really thin decision over Sergey Lipinets or something. But it's a guy from somewhere. It's a European guy, like an Eastern European guy, and whose name starts with a K, and I can't pronounce his name. You know what I mean? DJ Air Alert said, is Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul really happening? Man, I wouldn't be surprised, man. Jake Paul going to lose against Floyd Mayweather, go up and lose again. Man, it's ridiculous, dog. If you ask my wife, I'm wrong every day. Heck yeah. What do you say? You missed my comments? Oh, hold on. Alpha Net said, you missed my comments that pertain to Spence. Dog, I didn't miss your comment that pertained to the sparring sessions, okay? So I try to get to everybody's comment session. I saw your comment very early on in the chat talking about, did I see the Devin Haney sparring with Rolly Romero? And the answer to that was absolutely positively, I saw that. You know, absolutely positively, I saw that. See how many Manny comments are? Yeah, man, just leave it at the bottom of the chat, man. If I can get to it, I'll get to it. But I skip around, man. You know what I mean? I am not going to read every single comment, man. But I will read a lot of comments. Giovanni Walker said, Terrence Crawford and Sean Porter. And supporting, if you really want your comment read, put it in the super chat. I'll read it in the super chat. But the only thing with super chats is usually the ones that I see for sure are the $5 ones. The $2 ones sometimes will slip by because they don't pop up on the screen, which is, I mean, I don't get why they do that. That's an error on, that's really an error on YouTube's part. Giovanni Walker said, Terrence Crawford and Sean Porter go way back. They know each other and how each other fight since they were amateurs. Crawford knows he has the edge in beating Porter. But that don't mean they fought before. I don't think they've ever fought. They ain't former sparring partners. I don't think they're former sparring partners. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, I'm on that too. I can't wait. Hey, y'all, hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, my bad. DJ Errol said Biggie Smalls is the illest, by the way. Absolutely, dog. Said, right, I'm wrong. What you talking about, man? Let me know. What's the question you got about Manny Pacquiao, man? I don't mind answering that. At all, man. I do not mind. It isn't Jake Paul, it's Logan Paul. What's the difference? Explain to me why I'm supposed to care. Logan Paul, Jake Paul, Harry Paul, I don't care, man. It's some guy I don't care about, man. Like, it's a waste. It's seriously, it is an insult to, I think it's an insult to boxing, dog. I agree with Javonte Davis, man. Javonte Davis is 100% right about that by saying that, man. It's like, because these dudes really are starting to act like they're real boxers and that it's not some sideshow. They're literally, when Logan Paul, what's the dude's name? When Jake Paul starts talking shit to boxers about how much more he sells and all that, man, get out of here, man. You're Sideshow Bob is what you are. You know what I mean? You're Sideshow Bob. There's a bunch of actors that get paid more money than the real deal. Okay? But just because Will Smith plays Richard Williams don't mean he knows anything about tennis. All right, you're acting, homie. That is some acting. All right, these guys are real fighters. You're an actor. You're acting like you're one, and you're getting paid a lot of money to act like you're one. but you're still acting like you're one, man. You're not really one. There are guys that played, I'm sure there's a bunch of people that have played heroes in movies and all of that stuff and made way more money than the people that they were imitating. But those two guys are imitating a boxer, no doubt about it. They're imitating boxers, and that's all that stuff is. And on the real, if Logan Paul or whatever his name is goes the distance with Mike Tyson, it's because Mike Tyson lets him. Even at 55 years old, it's because he lets him. And I'm telling you right now, I agree that those dudes are probably, they better be careful if they're orchestrating fights. I'm telling you, because more than likely they're orchestrating. Like I can't say that I have any proof because I don't. No proof. But when that troll said that Tyron Woodley was not allowed to knock out Jake Paul, I'm going to tell you right now, dog, those guys aren't. With Mike Tyson, if he don't get hurt by Mike Tyson, you know that more than likely they are making a deal ahead of time to making an exhibition. And when you're doing an exhibition, you can script it. And if they start scripting that stuff and selling it and people are betting on scripted fights, dog, y'all better be careful with that, man. Y'all better be careful with that. Because cats will start putting money on fixed fights. And they ain't even really, they really punching each other, but they got certain, parameters. You know what I'm saying? If you see him hurt, you can't follow up on it. He's hurt. No. Let him cover his head. And then the refs are going to get out of here, man. You know what I mean? Anyway, Keyboard Man 2019 said, who you got in the Crawford Porter fight? I got Crawford. Look, man, I ain't stupid. All right. I got Crawford in that fight. And and however, it's a close fight. It's a close fight. But I got Crawford would have to be. Man, if Crawford loses to Sean Porter, dog, there's going to be all kind of talk of hype job. All kind of talk about hype job. But I don't think he's a hype job. I think he's the real deal. So, I think he should beat Sean Porter. I'm glad that and I'm not diminishing him for doing it. This is his most significant fight for sure. This particular fight is his most significant fight. Tyson cool with Paul too. Good payday for both. Yeah, but I don't, man. You're wasting a box, man. Come on, man. Let's get out of here, man. Make real fights, man. Just get out of here with that stuff. And people that ask for that stuff, get rid of that. Get out of here with that stuff. Michael Kirkland said Crawford versus Hearns in 147. Give me Hearns. I'll take Hearns, even though Crawford got a shot for sure, because Crawford could touch him. No doubt about it, man. No doubt about it. Mike Rhymes said, much love in that super chat, man. Thank y'all for supporting in the super chat. Said Mike Rhymes said Crawford said him and Porter never sparred because he was at 135. What difference does that make to spar bigger guys? I don't know, man. More than likely they never sparred because these guys knew that they may have to fight at some point in time. They may have to fight at some point in time. And they probably may never been at the same in fighting at similar times. Who knows, man? Chillfell said this generation's youngsters are weak-minded. Man, they do. I'll tell you, man, ours weren't the strongest either, man. We did a lot of dumb stuff, man. We had a whole lot of people. I mean, honestly, man, if our generation was really strong-minded, this generation wouldn't be like they are, dog. Like, it's ridiculous, man. I know I'm getting old. But this whole thing with like Dave Chappelle, like it bugs me, man. I'm like, this is really what the world is coming to. These guys, these whole society is torturing this man for telling an obvious truth that if you have a penis, you are a man. If you have a vagina, you are a woman. Like that is something that is so obviously true that for this man to be going through the amount of stress that he's going through over it is absolutely ridiculous, dog. I mean, dude, that is absolutely insane that anybody has any issue with him saying that. But these dudes, seriously, they're going to drive that man nuts. They're going to drive the man nuts, try to drive that man bankrupt. they got everybody, like, man, literally scared to say that a man is that a person, somebody with a penis is a man and somebody with a vagina is a woman. Like, that is where we are. That is how ridiculous things are, dog. Like it is absolutely stupid. Like, I was sitting there, I was talking to my niece about that. And, she's, like she's in her early 30s or whatever. I'm like, you realize this is stupid, right? Like, you realize this is absolutely positively. Hey, let me tell you something, man. Dave Chappelle looks super, super, super stressed. Super stressed, dog. Nah, Dave Chappelle is feeling it, man. Dude is sitting there drinking on stage, chain smoking cigarettes. Nah, man, them dudes are also on there. How can you not feel it when a bunch of people jump on you, man? You know what I mean? Like, people feel it when you get that many people jumping on you, dog. You know what I'm saying? He shouldn't be, but he is, dog. You know what I mean? Giovanni said, apologize, my brother. I can't remember my password to donate to the channel. We'll go to the phone center and I can learn how to redo my password. Oh, no worries, man. Thank you, man. I support that, man. I appreciate the support. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, dog, he's definitely stressed, man. Nah, dog. No. No, man. He is not, man. Look, he's handling it and he's being very strong about it, but no, dude. I saw it. Do you see that presentation he did the other day? No, dude. He's very, very stressed, man. He's very stressed. They canceled that dude's film. A very good film that he put out. The man can't get his film put out. That's a lot of money he invested in that. It's a lot of energy invested in it. And people are retracting invitations from you, dog. No, man, that's what they did to Bill Cosby. You know what I mean? They're doing him like they did Bill Cosby. Trying to ruin that man's life. Trying to ruin that man's life. And they're harassing him constantly, dude. Anywhere the man goes, they're harassing him. So anyway, man, it is what it is, man. Alpha Ness said, I'm just enjoying the live, smoking my J. Good morning, man. Good for you, man. That's what's up, man. FSU OKC WG3 said, Fannon, who do you think Boots fights next after he knocks out Delorme? I don't know, man. I would love a Keith Thurman fight. I love a big step up fight. If he can knock out Thomas Delorme, then maybe I like Keith Thurman. There's a lot of guys over there, man. I don't know, man. They pull somebody out, though. They'll pull some decent fighter out. He may hit a shelf for a while and have to beat somebody around that same level. You know what I mean? Said they will not win on this. Look, man, they're winning on it. Seriously, giving these idiots giving them a lot of energy. They're giving them something to push about. Because they're pushing on everybody else. They're going to win and succeed and scaring a whole lot of other people about speaking their mind. But Dave Chappelle he's staying tight, man. I hope he continues to stay tight, man. Anyway, Kingstone said, Fannon, did you see that Money Mayweather said some dumb stuff and there will be backlash on him? He rejected a picture to be taken with a young man that had nail polish on. Yeah, I saw that, man. And, on the real, the dude bum rushed him. And he gave a stupid explanation for it. He should have said no pictures and kept it pushing. But I don't know. Hey, I'm going to tell you though, man, considering the stuff that Floyd be wearing sometimes, I'm not quite sure why he would care about somebody having nail polish on when I'm pretty sure Floyd wears nail polish too. I'm almost positive that he does. I'll be shocked if he does not do that clear nail polish stuff. That Metro that gets he gets manicures and pedicures and all that. I'm pretty sure that dude get that clear nail polish put on his nails now. There's a whole bunch of those dudes do that, man. Get clear nail polish on their nails. So maybe he don't like people that got colored nail polish on, but dog, whole bunch of them dudes do that. Whole bunch of those guys get nail polish put on, man. Whole bunch. Anyway, man, I'm not, let's not talk too much about that, man. That stuff is just, it kind of makes me sad. Let's stick to boxing. Anyway, Minecart said, I keep hearing people saying Tyson Fury is the best Brit to ever box. I'm sorry, but I have Lennox and Hatton above him. No knock on Fury. He has rare size and movement for him. Yeah, they're going to say that he's the bandwagon of the month. He's certainly not done as much as Lennox Lewis has in Lennox Lewis's career. But, and that's what they do for everybody. As soon as a guy wins a heavyweight belt, they go into overdrive saying he's the best heavyweight ever. Like, literally. Mike Tyson was the greatest heavyweight ever. Then it became Vladimir Klitschko. I don't think they ever said it about Lennox Lewis. But then Vladimir Klitschko became the greatest heavyweight ever. Then Anthony Joshua became the greatest heavyweight ever. And now Tyson Fury is becoming the greatest heavyweight ever. They do that every time. Every time you've got a heavyweight that the media believes is the best heavyweight today, they always say, a bunch of people say, oh, no one could ever beat him. And then what turns around and happens is some little guy turns around and knocks him out. You know what I'm saying? It happens every time. Somebody turns around and knocks him out, and they got to stop it. I'm telling you, Vladimir Klitschko was the greatest heavyweight ever. And then what turned around then Layman Brewster turned around and knocked him out. Corey Sanders then turned around and knocked him out. He took a little bit of time mauling and grabbing people, and he didn't get knocked out for a while. And then Anthony Joshua turned around and knocked him out. And then Anthony Joshua became the greatest heavyweight. He became the greatest heavyweight of all time, all of that. And then Andy Ruiz turned around and knocked him out. That's just what keep happening, dog. So what's going to happen? More than likely, I'm telling you, what's going to happen with Tyson Fury is he's going to retire, and he's going to retire, and then people are going to forget about him because he hasn't fought enough people to be considered that, and he doesn't have a highlight reel. Very few. He's got a highlight reel that consists of him getting knocked down more times than he knocked Deontay Wilder down. So, that's just what it is, man. They do that all the time. Yeah, it said Vitaly was the real deal. Yeah, man, Vitaly was better than Vitaly was better than Vladimir, in my opinion. Vitaly, but he lost to Lennox. Lennox Lewis opened his face up, though. People didn't like that, man. I was so happy, man, because I was rooting for Lennox Lewis in that one. I was like, come on, Lennox, you're losing. Then Lennox all of a sudden picked up the pace and just opened his face up. Bow! I was like, whoa! And they had to stop that. Then they stopped it. And then Lennox Lewis retired on that. Lennox got ghost. He was like, what rematch, man? I'm up out of here, man. I ain't rematching you. I opened your face up. Thank you very much. Back to the drawing board for you. He said, yeah, Lennox gave him that work. I don't know. I think Vitaly Klitschko was putting that work. Vitaly Klitschko was putting that work on him. And then Lennox Lewis was like, hold on. And Lennox Lewis made an adjustment, and he took the fight to him. He took the fight to Vitaly. And then he opened Vitaly's face up with a very firm right hand. Not the first right hand he hit him with. Stepped up to him, opened his face up with a right hook, with a straight right. And after that, he was bleeding so much, they stopped the fight. And by the way, may I add that he was not bleeding as much anymore. He wasn't bleeding any more than Tyson Fury was bleeding for the entire for 90% of the Otto Wallin fight. They should have stopped that. And don't think that ain't sitting there waiting in the future of Tyson Fury too, getting that eye opened up. Because he didn't like that southpaw in Otto Wallin. Okay? Otto Wallin opened up that head now. And Alexander Usyk is a southpaw. He need to beat Alexander Usyk. Seriously, they do need to beat Alexander Usyk before we talk about all of that stuff. And I think he probably need to beat Anthony Joshua too. Everybody's all this, we already know who's going to win the fight type of nonsense. I ain't big on that, man. Not that big, man. Anyway, Marcus McCoy says, shout out to the channel for salute, man. Salute to you as well, man. Black Fawn said, Boots is climbing the rank, number 6 in the WBC, number 5 in the WBA, 3 in the IBF, 5 in the WBO. There you go. They're not going to be, he's going to get mandated pretty soon. You know what I mean? You said they counted on unconscious man in the first Wilder fight. Aren't we stopping fights to prevent concussions? Hey, man, I don't think so, because people get concussed in fights and get up and keep fighting. Tyson Fury was definitely concussed in that last fight. And you get up and you keep fighting. Now, boxing's about getting concussed. The mission is to give somebody a concussion. They are trying, man. People are trying as hard as they can to get people concussed up in that ring, man. Leah Potts in the building said, "What's up, Fannon? Much love from the UK. Don't always agree with you, but you're fair and enjoy debate. New sub over here. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, man. I'm glad that y'all ain't labeling me so much no more. You know, I really do appreciate that. That y'all are actually listening to that there's certain dynamics of people are actually listening to what I got to say and not just assuming that I'm saying the same thing that other people are saying. But you know what that is a lot of times? That's them troll channels. Them troll channels just be lying. Be calling people just making stuff up. You know, this is what he said. He's man, get out of here, man. Didn't nobody say that. You want me to say that, but I didn't say that. You know. Anyway, Donnie said, unless we get time travel, stop comparisons, enjoy and appreciate the past. Now, man, it's fun. I don't mind it. It's kind of fun. You know, that's a good thing about boxing is you really can compare to the past. However, I'm going to tell you that the future always loses to the past. Always. I've never seen it not happen yet. They always lose until they get significantly enough in the past for people to put them in perspective. Floyd Mayweather, don't nobody think Floyd Mayweather is the GOAT. I'm trying to tell you, don't nobody really wait until Floyd stops running his mouth. Soon as Floyd Mayweather stops running his mouth, people are not going to think that he's the greatest. They're not going to do it. As soon as somebody else gets up there, they'll be greater than Floyd. I'm telling you. And people will be telling you, watch what happens. Alpha net analogs. Watch what happens. Watch what happens. As soon as there's somebody that really dominates boxing, they're going to be the greatest of all time. I guarantee you, over Floyd Mayweather. The thing that Floyd Mayweather has is that Floyd Mayweather became the biggest name in boxing. And nobody else has done that. They tried to name Canelo Alvarez the successor to Floyd. Canelo Alvarez is nowhere near as big as Floyd. Everybody makes history. What's Floyd's history? What history has Floyd made that I'm telling you that I cannot break down? Other than how much money he's made, there you go. But wait till somebody makes more. Then I'm trying to tell you, then wait till somebody makes more than him. Because somebody's going to make more money than him. Watch. I'm telling you. And it's going to happen sooner than you think. Sooner than you think. Especially if there's an American heavyweight. An American heavyweight that takes over the heavyweight division will make more money than they will. And matter of fact, if there was a healthy heavyweight division where these guys were really fighting each other, they would already been making Floyd money. That's fake. That's fake. That's a fake record. Completely fake record. And not even true. Fake record and not true. More champions and ex-champions. How many belts are there right now? There's 50 million belts. There's literally 8 belts in the 1930s. There's like 90 now. It's not true. There's more than 18 belts. There's more than 18 belts. That is because of how many belts there are and what you define a champion. How many undisputed champions has Floyd Mayweather beaten? Somebody do the math for me. How many fighters did Floyd beat that were undisputed champions? Zero. Floyd has beaten more title holders, not more champions. A champion is the guy that is the champion at that weight division. Oscar De La Hoya was not an undisputed champion at welterweight when he fought Floyd Mayweather Jr. No, he was not. And if he was, that's one. That's one. Give me another one. But whose fault is that? I don't care whose fault it is. It's a false number. You're telling me he's beaten 18 champions. I'm telling you, were any of them undisputed champions? Were any of them undisputed champions? No. There was always other champions in the division. He didn't ever, you're like he was the only, like they was the only champion. If it's not an undisputed champion, then it's a title holder. He beat more title holders. People that held titles. Oscar Valdez. You know what I mean? If somebody beats Oscar Valdez, then moves up and beats Devin Haney, and then moves up and beats, Josh Warrington is undisputed, but beats somebody with the WBA silver belt. I mean, you know who you're counting? You're counting Robert the Ghost Guerrero. You're counting Virgil Ortiz. You're counting Andre Berto as a former champion. Stop. That is a number that works well in the press. He has not beaten 18 undisputed champions. He has not done it. So no. And on top of it, how can anybody else for 90% of boxing's history ever have had a chance to do that? The four belt era started in the 80s. Nah, man. Yeah, I'm not getting, man, stop that. But anyway, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It'll be beaten when they got 700 belts. When we're at 700 belts and somebody says, oh, I've won championships and I've beaten 97 world champions, or I've beaten 60 world champions. I had 60 fights and every one of them held a belt. You know what I mean? Come on, man. Just stop, dog, with that. Floyd is a very, very good fighter, and he's made more money than anybody else. Stick with that. Stick with that. Who has the what? Henry Armstrong. Henry Armstrong held at one time 30% of the belts, boxing's belts, at the same time. At the same time. The titles that Henry Armstrong held, when he held the featherweight, the lightweight, and the welterweight championship all at the same time, do the math and put those in-between weight classes in there. That makes 6. And then multiply them times 4, which makes 24. The belts that Henry Armstrong all held at the same time today would consist of 24 belts. 24 at the same time. That is more than the 18 for Henry Armstrong. Let me do the math. Y'all like facts, don't you? When Henry Armstrong was fighting, there was no such thing as the 122-pound the 130-pound division. There was no such thing as the 122-pound division. There was no such thing as the 130-pound division. There was no such thing as the 140-pound division. None of them. All of those fighters fought a weight class up. Absolutely, I'm comparing Armstrong to Floyd Mayweather. Yes, they're the same size. They fought in the same weight classes. Henry Armstrong will, here. You want me to compare Henry Armstrong to Floyd Mayweather Jr.? Henry Armstrong will beat him. Henry Armstrong will beat him. Henry Armstrong is a better fighter than Floyd. Absolutely. I will compare them. Henry Armstrong wins. Henry Armstrong wins. Prove me wrong. Henry Armstrong wins. However, since you want to talk about belts, Henry Armstrong there was no 122. No 122. Everybody at 122 was fighting at 126 or they were at 118. So he's got all the 122 pound titles. That's 4. He gets all the 126 pound titles. That's 8. He gets all of the 130. That's 12. He gets all of the 135 pound. That's 16. He gets all of the 100. He gets all of the 140 pound titles. That is 4 more. That makes 20. And he gets all of the 147s. That's 4 more. That's 24. That's 24 belts that you have right now in the same weight divisions, that he fought in, and he held all of the belts. Has Floyd Mayweather ever held all of the belts simultaneously at 122, 130, 135, 140, and 147? That's not reaching. That's a fact. No, it's not reaching. It's a fact. There's nothing reaching. It is a fact. Henry Armstrong held the 126 pound belt, the 130. He was undisputed at 126, 135, and 147 at the same time. At the same time, either 1936 or 1937, at the same time. Henry Armstrong has more wins than Floyd Mayweather Jr. How many wins does Floyd Mayweather Jr. have? You want to say how many losses? How many wins does he have? Let me go look. How many wins Henry Armstrong has? Henry Armstrong has 2 times as many knockouts as Floyd Mayweather Jr. has fights. Henry Armstrong, where's his record? I love y'all on this. Y'all just got to stop that, dog. Anyway, pro boxing record. According to BoxRec, Henry Armstrong's record is 149-21 with 10 draws, with 99 knockouts, which means he has twice as many knockouts as Floyd Mayweather Jr. has fights. Now, do you think Floyd Mayweather Jr. would be undefeated if he got to 100 fights? Tell him keep on fighting. Keep on fighting. Don't quit at 50. If he's better than Henry Armstrong, don't stop at 50. Because there's guys that got to 80-0. Got to 80-0. Keep on fighting. Get to 100, get to 159 fights. And tell me Floyd Mayweather Jr. is going to be undefeated. Like I said, Henry Armstrong, and I'm not dissing Floyd Mayweather Jr. I'm not dissing Floyd Mayweather Jr. at all. But the fact of the matter is, dog, that man and I ain't lying, Henry Armstrong is too small for Sam Langford. Sam Langford is a middleweight to heavyweight. The fact of the matter is, when you say Floyd Mayweather Jr. beat more world champions than anybody else, you are saying something that is fundamentally flawed. Because all those guys weren't champions when he fought them. Okay? He wasn't champions. They weren't champions when he fought them. How many champions did he beat who were champions when he fought them? Versus how many current and former world champions did he beat? Right? Go through that. And then, how many were undisputed champions? You're going to whittle down to the number none. People lie with numbers all the time, man. People lie with numbers numbers don't lie, but people use numbers to lie all the time. They justify all kind of stuff with numbers. They'll justify sticking 90% of black America in jail over some numbers. Okay? Stop. Yeah, he lost 21 times. He also got 100 knockouts and 121 wins. He's got 170 fights, man. He lost. Man, stop it. Anyway, whatever, man. Like I said, I can't wait. I can't wait. Tell him keep fighting. Tell him to fight. Come on, man. Come on out and fight. Fight Errol Spence. If your boy is all that, tell him fight Errol Spence. Tell him fight Errol Spence. I wouldn't mind it. Jump on out. He ain't that old. Those guys were fighting at that age. Jump on out and fight the kids. Fight them. Stop. This is what I'm telling you. Stop with all that. He's retired. Yeah, he's retired. You know he's retired. There's a reason he's retired. He ain't getting to no 100-0, man. He ain't. He's not going to get Floyd Mayweather. First of all, he only fights twice a year. These guys were fighting. He lost 21 times though. And so what? If he lost 21 times, so what? He fought damn near 200. Let Floyd fight 100 times. Let him fight. Let him have to fight whoever they put in front of him, and let him fight all the way up till he gets 130, gets up there. You guys thinking you thinking because he has never lost that means that he's the greatest fighter ever? He's not fought a lot of the guys that other people fought. He hasn't had as many fights. He's got a third of the fights of these guys. A third. Sugar Ray Robinson got to 50-0. Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. got to 50-0. But they kept fighting. Anyway, y'all want to say that? I don't care. In your opinion, did Armstrong fight better than competition than Floyd? I couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you. I know he fought a lot more competition than Floyd. I know he fought a lot more competition. I can't tell you about better, but I know he fought a lot more. A lot more. How do you know, Dion? How do you know? Name the people that he fought. And who's better than the people that he fought? Name them. Name the 120, the 150 people that Henry Armstrong fought. Name them. Come on, man. Stop it, man. Stop it. You have no idea, Dion D-Mix. You have no clue. You have no clue whether or not they were quality or not quality. You don't know that. You don't know who they are. How could you tell? Dude, there's literally nobody on. How many fighters on that? Stop it, dog. Just stop it, dog. Stop it. Okay? Floyd is your favorite fighter, and you will defend him to the end. But you have no idea who Henry Armstrong fought. You don't even know who they are. So how could you tell that, man? He said he fought a prime Robinson. He fought a lot of dudes, man. He fought a lot of dudes. I believe he fought Fritzy Zivik too. A very, very dirty fight. The fact that you don't even know means something. You don't know, dummy. I'm saying I don't know. Because I do not know everybody on his resume. The reason that I'm telling you, bringing up Henry Armstrong, is I'm bringing up that 18 championship nonsense. I do know who he fought, though. If you like me to go through who he fought. He fought DeMarcus Chop Chop Coley. He fought Zab Judah. He fought Juan Manuel Marquez. He fought Andre Berto. He fought who else did he fight? They were killers. He fought Angel Man Freddy. He fought Emmanuel Augustus. I can tell you who he fought, and let me tell you, not all those dudes are all that. Okay? Not of them. Not a lot of them are not all that. He's a better fighter than those guys. He's the best fighter of the time that he was there, and he proved that. You all want to talk about the man is the greatest all time bunk. I can tell you I know more about Floyd Mayweather's career than you do. Bet you I do. I know enough to tell you that 18 world champions, concurrent world champions. Let's just do it though. I want to see maybe, let's count him. He beat 18 world champions. Not going to be difficult. I'll count the number of undisputed champions that Floyd Mayweather Jr. has fought. Yeah, that'd be none. Real quick, that'd be none. Where do I rank Floyd all time? I can't. I rank him as the best guy of this century. I rank Floyd Mayweather as the number one fighter of the 20th century. Floyd took less punishment because Floyd took half the fights. Of course he's going to take less punishment. He fought half the fights. What was the source you accessed a minute ago? BoxRec. 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 Look, man, y'all let Floyd blow smoke up your ass if y'all want that smoke blown up your backside, okay? That is Floyd's smoke you were talking about right there. Javonte Davis is a 3-division champion, isn't he? Isn't he? Floyd May, hey, how many division champion is Javonte Tank Davis? Oh, I'm giving Floyd his respect. Floyd is definitely the best fighter of this century. One of the best fighters of the 90s. One of the best fighters of the 90s. One of them. And the best fighter of the 20th century. I do believe. Excellent, excellent fighter. One of the best fighters I've ever seen. But let me ask you a question. How many world champions, how many belts does Javonte Davis have? Was he ever the undisputed champion? If you count 3 belts. Not if you count 4. If you count 4, never. If you count 3, once. If you count 3 belts and you leave the IBO out of it, yeah, he was the undisputed champion for 2 fights against Marcos Maidana and against Manny Pacquiao. There you go. He says you need 3. At a certain time, you did need 3. Floyd is making a good point on that. When in the 1990s, you needed 3. You didn't need 4 to be considered the undisputed champion. You needed 3. You needed the IBF, you needed the WBA, and you needed the WBC to be the undisputed champion. Because people didn't recognize the WBO at the time. But I'm just telling you, y'all can hit the brakes with all of that, man. Seriously. He's the best fighter of this century. But I'm asking you again, Mr. My Floyd Mayweather Jr., smoke blowers, smoke sniffers. How many belts does Javonte Davis have now? Because they're doing the same thing with Javonte Davis. Right? And I'm a Javonte Davis fan, like Javonte Davis. How many belts does Javonte Davis have? He's TBE. He need to pay money. He need to pay Muhammad Ali for using that name, but whatever. Muhammad Ali lost. I guess he's a better fighter than Muhammad Ali too, right? Right? He fought killers like Muhammad Ali, right? He got in there with killers like Ali did. You sure about that? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, he got 1, exactly. But no, he's got 3. He got exactly. Yeah. 3, right? So I guess he's a champion 3 times, right? That's Floyd Mayweather smoke. That's smoke. Javonte Davis is a 2-time champion. Deuce. 2-time champion. He's a 3-time champion. The thing is, though, he's a 3-time champion at 130. He beat Jose Pedraza for the WBO. He got a vacant belt for the WBA Super, and then he vacated it. And then he moved back down and fought Leo Santa Cruz for the same belt he vacated. He is a three-time champion at 130 pounds. That's what Javonte Davis is. He is not a 135-pound champion, nor is he a 140-pound champion. He is a three-time 130-pound champion. And nobody even says that because they too busy overlooking and trying to sell you something about minor belts. But even if it's a minor belt, he still never proved that he's the best in the weight class. There's very few fighters right now that have to do that. Zab was undisputed. Zab wasn't undisputed when he fought him. Zab Judah wasn't undisputed. Zab Judah wasn't undisputed when he fought him. Zab Judah, it was for the IBF belt. That's it. He fought him for the IBF belt. And I don't even think he wasn't even a champion when he fought him. Or they fight for the vacant belt. It doesn't matter because either way, if you fought for the vacant belt, yeah, I don't know how they got that. He wasn't even a champion when he fought him. And Floyd and Zab Judah was coming off a loss to Carlos Baldomir. Not when he fought him. He wasn't. Floyd did not fight Zab Judah as an undisputed champion. And the most belts Zab Judah ever had was 3. I don't know. I have to go look that up. Anyway, whatever, man. I didn't mean to talk about Floyd Mayweather all day, man. Yeah, it's like it's vacant or something. But that's a world champion he beat. Because you're counting that. You know what I'm saying? How are you going to count an ex-world champion in your list of world champions you beat? If a guy's an ex-champion, he wasn't a champion at the time you beat him. How many guys did he beat? Were they champions when he beat them? Or were they champions in a lower weight class and moved up, and that's another former world champion that you beat? Dude, I'm telling you, that is marketing, man. Please, that's marketing. And if you're okay with marketing, you're okay with marketing. But it's just marketing, man. That's all that is. And cool. But obviously the dude's a very good fighter, no doubt. Kevin Faulkner said, Fannon, preach, brother. That's the problem with man fans trying to protect fighters. Who will give them credit if they never fight each other? You just have to see what happens. Yeah, pretty much, man. But I'm the real. I've seen the Henry Armstrong fight. I'll take Henry Armstrong over Floyd. I've seen enough of Henry Armstrong to say I will take Henry Armstrong. I think that'd be a very, very difficult fight for Floyd Mayweather. Henry Armstrong. Henry Armstrong is a brutal fighter, dude. Very, very brutal, dog. Very brutal. You know what I mean? For 9, the kind of technicality. Nah, dog. They're seriously, man. Come on, man. He's hyping up his stats, dog. Those are ESPN stats, dog. Okay? He don't need all that hyping of his stats, dog. All right? And Floyd hypes his own stats, dog. Like, that's the one thing I don't like about Floyd. He hypes himself. I've beaten more world champions than anybody's ever beaten. Dog, there were more belts when you fought, and you're counting people that were not champions when you fought them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's guys that have never won a belt that have beaten world champions, have beaten former world champions. You know what I'm saying? Sergey, who? Oh, what's that dude's name? Man, please. What's that man's name that just got done beating Mikey Garcia? He just beat a world champion, right? What's the guy's? I can't remember his name. Whoever it is that just beat Martin something was his name. Martin Sandor. I guess Martin Sandor just beat a world champion when he beat Mikey Garcia. Do you think he just beat a world champion because he didn't beat a world champion? But Floyd would count that as him beating a world champion because he beat a guy because he beat him. Right? No. He didn't beat a world champion. Didn't. He beat a guy that used to be a world champion. But he didn't beat an actual world champion. If he had beaten an actual world champion, he'd be a world champion. But he's not a world champion. He beat a guy that used to be a world champion. You know? Can we get off Floyd now? If you ask a question about something other than Floyd. Man, Henry Armstrong ain't going to be confused about Floyd Mayweather Jr., dog. The fact of the matter is there were way more fighters back then, homie. Way more fighters back there, man. Back then. Way more. Fought way more often. Way more styles. He's not going to be confused when he's got 150 fights in his career, man. Okay? Leopold said, how far will Monster Inoue go? All the way up to 122. He'll be all the way up to 122. At 122, though, that's it for him. But I think he's going to lose as soon as he gets in there with a well-rounded Mexican. He's going to get beat up. They got a Mexican dude over there about to beat up Monster Inoue. I can see that coming. I don't know which one he's going to be, but more than likely it's going to be a Mexican dude. If it wasn't Luis Neri had already lost, he moves up, Brandon Figueroa, somebody's going to get him. If he moves up enough, he's going to get got. You know, because honestly, he's a knockout artist. That's what he is. He came very close to losing to Nonito Donaire. But pretty soon, man. Yeah, he runs into a guy like Stevie Fulton Jr. or something like that. Yeah, then he gets beat. Then he gets beat. He may run into Antonio Russell and get beat. The 118-pounder, the 118-pound Russell brother might beat him. Because that cat can fight. And I'm telling you, they fight just like I was telling you about man, y'all don't like that dog. Woo! Y'all Devin Haney's didn't like that. Y'all Devin Haney fans didn't like that dog. I'm trying to told you. Y'all didn't like that, man. Y'all did not like that. Man, stop. Man, stop. You know what I'm saying? Stop, man. Get a man his God, man. Stop. Floyd Mayweather Jr. does not have anywhere near the experience that Henry Armstrong had. Henry Armstrong, the amount of experience that Henry Armstrong has makes Floyd Mayweather Jr. look like a novice. Okay? Floyd Mayweather Jr. was an experienced fighter. Very experienced fighter. And the more fights he got, the better he got. He didn't start his career when he had 20 fights being as good and as slick and as smart a fighter as he was when he had 35 fights or 36 fights. He got smarter as time went on. How smart do you think you get after 100 fights? How smart you think you get after 100 fights? Julian Ledesma, much love in that super chat. Man, thank you. He said, Prime Galata versus Prime Kornacki, not nut shots, Galata. Galata could fight a little bit, man. Kornacki sucks. Kornacki a punching bag, and that's just a matter of time. Kornacki just a punching bag, dog. You know what I mean? Straight up punching bag, dog. Troy King said, what do you think about Jamal? Man, one of the smartest dudes in boxing. Very, very smart, dog. Very, very smart. Didn't get sucked into the nonsense. Giving Canelo Alvarez his respect, and is going to get a fight with Canelo Alvarez eventually. I think he's a very good fighter, but obviously, need to see him. He's beaten very good fighters. There's a lot of people laying on his last fight about, he's garbage because of the fight he had. Montel gave him problems. Yeah, okay, whatever. He had that night against that guy. So did Shakur Stevenson against the African kid that he fought, that he went the distance with. But when he stepped up and got his hands on Jamel Herring, he gave Jamel Herring, a loss and a significant loss. So I think Jamal is one of the best guys between 160 and 168. And I can't wait to see him fight Canelo or one of the other guys. Robert Jaramillo said, got it that time. Jaramillo said, good morning, Fannon. Keep up the great job, man. I'm riding with Chris Colbert. Is there something dangerous? There's something dangerous in that man. Can I get a wrench yet? Oh my God, man, you should have been had one, man. How you not have a wrench, Mr. Yarmil? How you not have a wrench? You should have been had a wrench, homie. Hey, look, man, we got 300 people in the building. Can we get the likes up, man? Hit them likes. Get them likes up, man. Get the likes up, man. Please get the likes up. Let me add this moderator. Yeah, dog, you are now moderated, man. Without a doubt, we got the moderation going on in effect, man. Mexicutioner. Counterpunchers and pressure fighters versus Floyd. All their faces after the first round. Hey, man. Mexican TMT, man. Y'all better go ask Floyd Sr. Go ask Floyd Mayweather. Do me a favor. Go ask Floyd Mayweather Sr. and Roger Mayweather that same question. Go ask them. And listen to what they say. I guarantee you're going to hear some reticence in their voices because they are what you call realistic out here, and they ain't buying, and they know how good they will tell you. Even when they talked about Floyd fighting Terrence Crawford, they're like, hey man, we ain't gonna say that's gonna be an easy fight now with Terrence Crawford. They said, look man, that'd be a good fight. I mean, hey, Floyd might do his thing, but ain't gonna be no easy walk in the park with Terrence. Terrence can do this, Terrence can do that, Terrence can do this, and Terrence could do that. They wouldn't even Roger Mayweather wouldn't even say that Terrence Crawford versus Floyd Mayweather would have been a walk in the park for Floyd Mayweather. So you guys sitting there talking about Henry Armstrong, you know the deal. Man, them dudes could fight, man. Okay? Go back and watch Joe, like a guy like what's my man's name, dog? Said Roger gone, man. Roger ain't gone, man. I'm sorry, Roger. Not Roger. Yeah, you're right. Forgive me. Not Roger. Jeff. I mean Jeff. Sorry. I transpose the names. Sorry about that. And rest in peace to the great Roger Mayweather. I mean Jeff Mayweather. They would have told anybody you don't know ish about boxing. Let me tell you something, dog. No, they would not. Not with that one, dog. Floyd Mayweather Sr. ain't said Floyd Mayweather Jr. is the greatest boxer ever. He ain't never said that. You've never heard those guys say that about Floyd. It's Floyd. It's Floyd that says that. Not his uncles. His uncles will tell you now. His uncles will tell you who he'll beat, which is all these dudes. But dog, they're not sipping on that Kool-Aid like that, man. He said, laugh if Errol turns Boots into his tune-up. Nah, that ain't no tune-up, dog. Right there. But nah, that ain't gonna happen either, man. That'd be a great fight. Eventually, that may happen depending on how long he stays at that weight class, for sure. CCGG Dirty K said they probably instructed him to retire to get out of Bud's way. Nah, man, he's done, man. Dude, Floyd Mayweather Jr. was slowing down in his career. He took a lot of time off, and he was slowing down. And he got out from major competition at the right time because that welterweight division was starting to build up a lot of competition there, and he was not going to fight those young guys. That's just what it was. He got his last real good fight against Canelo Alvarez, beat Canelo Alvarez because Canelo Alvarez is a very good fighter, dog, but he wasn't good as Floyd. Just that point blank period. And even then, Floyd Mayweather Sr. said, yeah, he needs to fight that kid, but he needs to fight him now, is what he said. He said, yeah, if he's going to fight him, he needs to fight him now. Because if he waits too long, that's going to be a really tough fight between him and Canelo. So he knew when he was getting Canelo. He was getting Canelo earlier in his career before Canelo was fully seasoned. Or better yet, before Floyd Mayweather Jr. dipped a little bit. And he beat Canelo, right? Beat a very good Canelo. Don't get me wrong. Very good. But Canelo just wasn't as knowledgeable at the time as Floyd Mayweather Jr. was, and he beat him. But Floyd wasn't going to sit around and forever and then go fight Sean Porter, then fight Kell Brook, then fight Errol Spence, then fight Terrence Crawford. You know what I mean? There's not 12 likes. You got to hit your much love in that super chat. You got to hit your refresh. Much love in that super chat. You got to hit your refresh, man. There's 282 likes, man, but I wouldn't mind 300 though. Hit them likes, man. Get them 300 likes for me, man. Please. I'd greatly appreciate it. Barber Talk 101 said, hey, man, and Donnie 54, man, thank you for your support of the channel, man. I see you coming in here big time today, man. Thank you so much. It does matter. Barber Talk 101. I believe Sugar Ray Robinson definitely would beat Floyd if they were 154. Duran and Sugar Ray Leonard as well. Yeah, the Sugar Ray Leonard fight for me is the guy. I think he beats Floyd. If same experience for same experience, just because the guy's so much bigger, because of the size difference, and the fact that Sugar Ray Leonard is a killer. You know what I'm saying? Sugar Ray Leonard is a killer. But Floyd be disrespecting people, man. Like, Floyd want to say, like, give your all time, like, Duran. Like, I like Duran, but why are you putting Duran over Ali? You know what I mean? You just can't tell me that Floyd got some hate. No, Floyd got some jealousy, man, in his heart, man. You know, and it's for a guy with all that money, it just tells you that everybody can, there's nobody's above being jealous and having envy in their heart. And Floyd Mayweather Jr. was envious of Mike Tyson, envious of Muhammad. He's envious of heavyweights, man. Even the way that he talks about Deontay Wilder, man, and the way he tries to stick to it. You know, it's like, man, it's too much, dog. Let everybody else talk about how good you are at this point in time. You know what I mean? So it's like with Floyd always tries to continue to sell it. Anyway, real life living, Floyd too small at 154, but at 126, 130, 135, nobody could touch him. That I agree with. Of the cats that I saw, even though I'll tell you that Roberto Duran at that weight class would have been something. Man, Floyd is, dude, there's not that much difference between these guys, man. You know what I mean? Floyd ain't walking down on no. Floyd would give Hagler would beat Floyd. Hagler's too big for Floyd. Hagler's a 160 pounder. Floyd's not going to fight Gennady Golovkin, man. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to fight Gennady Golovkin. Gennady Golovkin was too big for Floyd. He's not going to do it because he can just throw caution to the wind and get to running at him. You know what I mean? At a certain size, man. Anyway, he said Ray Leonard was a killer, but he didn't want that killer prior. Nah, dog. No. Hey, man, I ain't sure if Floyd Mayweather wants that dude, wants him anyway. But look, said I actually just looked at Henry Armstrong's highlights, bruh. No way in hell Floyd or nobody in that weight class beats that animal. He was different. I'm telling you, better look at that boy. He walking right, slipping, but it's a monster. And it's hurting you. You know what I'm saying? Hurting you. That is a punishing fighter in Henry Armstrong, man. When I first saw Henry Armstrong, because I would think the same thing. Like, I was like, you know, I knew who Henry Armstrong was, but I had not really watched him fight and looked at his tapes. Dude, when you look at that dude fight, that is an animal, man. That is an animal in there, man. And I'm telling you, he's hitting you everywhere on everything, hitting you on anything, everything, everywhere. Can come forward and slip you coming in. Dude, he's walking right in on you, dog. Off cats. Like, how you gonna keep that dude? That dude was an animal. Very tough to keep off your chest. And will fight you right on your chest. Henry Armstrong wasn't no joke. There was no reason. He wasn't that big, man. He's a 126 pounder beating 147 pounders, man. That dude was the real deal, man. Yeah, Hagler's a beast, but man, and Floyd's a beast too. He said, yeah, Floyd's the guy for sure in his time for absolutely. Absolutely, man. Yeah, that dude was nasty, man. Deborah Booker said, hey, Fannon, just did my research, and Jab was an undisputed champion, and Floyd did beat Zab. So why won't you read the chat? Because you don't like being wrong? Deborah Booker. He was not an undisputed champion at the time Floyd Mayweather Jr. beat him. And let me go to Zab Judah and see where he held 4 belts. Zab Judah. When was he an undisputed champion? Never. He fought Corey Spinks, and he had the WBC, the WBA, and the IBF. There's no WBO there. Corey Spinks, they fought for the WBC, the WBA, and the IBF. There's no WBO there. He beats Corey Spinks, beats Cosme Rivera, and he has the WBC, the WBA, and the IBF. There's no WBO there. Where's his WBO, Deborah? Name the fight? Where's the WBO that he had? And he had no belts when he fought Floyd Mayweather Jr. None. The belts on the line for when Zab Judah fought Floyd Mayweather Jr. Since you want to say I'm wrong, I have no problem proving you wrong. Were the IBF it was just the IBF. He fought Floyd Mayweather Jr. for the IBF. The fight before that, he lost to Carlos Baldemir for the WBC. Zab Judah did not hold a belt when he fought Floyd Mayweather Jr. Would you like to apologize now? Deborah, no hard feelings. But when did he have the WBO? He didn't. Unless you're counting 3 belts. At which point in time I'll say, okay, he held 3 belts. And I knew he held 3 belts against Corey Spinks. But he didn't have a belt and was coming off of a loss when he fought Floyd. So should Floyd get credit for beating an undisputed champion when the guy didn't hold any belts and he had just lost to Carlos Baldemir? Inquiring minds want to know. Anyway, I don't ever have a problem reading comments, but I'm not wrong. Zab Judah did not hold any belts when he fought Floyd Mayweather Jr. None. Do you not like to write again in the chat when you're wrong, Deborah Booker? I ain't trying to, I don't want to stick it. He said, nah, you right for now. I know I'm right. Thank you very much, Powerhouse Watson. I know I'm right. That's what I'm telling you. Do not believe Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s statistics, okay? He is what you call fudging on you. Zab Judah was a former champion. He was not a current champion when he fought him. Sorry. But anyway, Deborah, I'm going to sit right here, dog. Are you suggesting that big names means nothing G at all? No, stop changing the subject. I'm not saying anything about big names. I'm saying if you said you beat a world champion, the guy has to be a world champion when you beat him. Okay? You got to be a world champion when you beat him, not a world champion at some point in time. You know what I'm saying? Beat the guy and then 10 years later he becomes a world champion? Or you beat him 10 years after he was a world champion? Come on, man. Did Jaron Ennis just beat a world champion? Thomas Delorme Sergey Lipinets was a world champion at some point in time. Did Boots has not beaten a world champion? He's never held a title. How could he have beaten a world champion and never have a title? And I'm talking about Jaron Ennis. Jaron Ennis beat Sergey Lipinets in his last fight. Sergey Lipinets is the former IBF 140-pound champion. Is he not? So would you accept the notion that Jaron Ennis has beaten a world champion? If you've beaten a world champion, how come Boots ain't never been a world champion? If you've beaten a world champion. Because once you beat a world champion, you become a world champion, right? Right? Deborah. Where you at, Deborah? Don't call me. I like Deborah. Deborah be coming through the chat. I don't want to do you too bad, Deborah, but you put me on the spot. You did the research. He never had the WBO. In 2005, that's the WBO been around since the late 1980s. DJ Errol alert. Much love in that super chat. Get out of here with all of that lineal nonsense. Get out of here with that. Now he's the lineal. Now you're going to jump to lineal. Get out of here. And no, it's not called the lineal, dog. It's not called the lineal, dog. Deborah disappeared, dog. Deborah don't want to say nothing now. Deborah going back, frantically looking up and down box rec right about now. Deborah, don't do me like that. I thought we was cool. Deborah. I didn't think it had to come to that. And then on top of it, you're going to say, why don't I want to read your comment? Let me tell you, sometimes I don't want to read your comment because I don't want to make you look bad. I don't want to do it. I'm saying I don't want to do it. I want to go read it. You know what I mean? Just have a good time, dog. But y'all today, for some reason, Floyd is under your skin. I got that. But look, man. Nah, why would you hate all Deborah's? Deborah's cool. Man, please. That girl, that girl, excuse me. She comes by there. Yeah, she Googling right now, dog. You're not getting out of that, dog. You believe Floyd. Take what Floyd Mayweather says with a grain of salt. I'm telling you about his accolades, okay? Take it with a grain of salt, okay? Take it with it. He is promoting himself. He is selling himself. He does it. Floyd Mayweather Jr. did not beat 18 world champions. He didn't do it. They were not champions when he beat them. He would say, I beat 18 current or former world champions. Then I would say, how many of them are undisputed? But then watch this, Deborah. If he beat Zab Judah, and Zab Judah was undisputed, that makes one. One. That ain't 18. That's one, not 18. How many undisputed champions did Muhammad Ali beat? He beat 3 of them. 3. He beat Liston. He beat Foreman. He beat Liston. Maybe 2. Liston and he beat Foreman. I think maybe at the time that he beat Larry Holmes, that he beat Spinks, Larry Holmes was already the champion. I think they were calling the other champion at the time. Yeah. Is Deborah back yet? I don't want to hurt Deborah's feelings, man. Seriously, I don't want to shake. I don't want to get rid of subscribers. I ain't trying to scare you off, dog. 50 bands in the building. Said, no way Armstrong can beat Floyd. I just finished watching his fights. No head movement. He was just hitting those white fighters with everything. Look, dude, that is absolutely to say that you sat up and watched him for 2 seconds and said that he has no head movement. He is famous for his head movement. He comes in like this. He walks right into people with head movement, slipping punches like this. And he walks right to their chest and gets to hitting them. Henry Armstrong has amazing head movement. Not just okay head movement. He has amazing head movement. Because that's how a guy that little gets in there against guys that big. He dips, and he's in your chest. And then he starts fighting you on the inside. Watch him again. Every time he gets back, he does this. This is what he did. He'll do this, and he'll start slipping in and out, ducking, parrying, blocking shots until he gets inside, and he starts fighting inside. That's how Henry Armstrong fights, for the most part. Barber Talk said the Magic is former world champions, not champions. Floyd loves himself more than exact. If you say former, that's what he means. He means former world champions. They were not champions at the time the guy fought. Not all of them were champions at the time he fought him, dog. You're not getting no credit for Robert the Ghost Guerrero. Andre Berto at the time, he beat Andre Berto in his last real fight, man. Andre Berto didn't hold no titles. He used to, though. But he lost it to another guy Floyd beat. So he gets credit for beating both of them for the same championship. The one lost to the other, but he gets credit for both. You know what I mean? Yeah, come on, man. Anyway. I don't know if Armstrong will smoke him or not. They're both great fighters. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he'll smoke him or not. I'm just saying, man, come on, man. He just adding a little bit, you know, he just add a little bit extra to the mix, man. And the thing is, you know, man, I'm confused. Didn't Spence press Floyd out of the ring? Nah, he had a good sparring match with him. You know what I mean? Anyway, man, like I said, man, you know, it is what it is. There you go, Deborah. Most of the people were undisputed, would not buy Floyd Mayweather because they didn't want to lose their belts. Most of the people who were undisputed, he didn't have an opportunity, Deborah, to fight him. He didn't have an opportunity to fight him. Between the year 2010 and Terrence Crawford, there weren't any undisputed champions. The only undisputed champion that was around during that period of time was Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins held them all at middleweight. Floyd Mayweather Jr. was at a time where all of those belts were split up. It's not easy to get undisputed. It's just not. It's not undisputed. And they weren't ducking him, trust me. They weren't ducking him. He fought the best fighters down there at 130 and 135. They just got 4 belts. Don't get me wrong, man. There's nothing to discredit Floyd. I'm not discrediting Floyd. What I'm saying, only thing that I ever was saying was this. You can't use that 18 world champion stuff and use that against a guy that was fighting in the 1960s. Number one, in the 1960s, there was only 2 belts. In the 1950s, there was only 1 belt. So 150, there was only 1 belt in only 8 weight classes. So the fact that Floyd, it would be literally impossible for anybody to beat 18 world champions in the 1940s because there weren't 18 world champions in at that period of time. It was literally impossible for somebody to win belts in 7 weight classes in the 1940s because there was only 8 weight classes, and that's not humanly possible for a guy to go from 118 pounds to 200 pounds and win. Seriously, the guy would have to start fighting when he was like he'd have to start fighting when he was like 11 years old. He'd have to win like a featherweight world championship when he was 11 years old and fight long enough to grow into heavyweight. It's just not going to happen. The best that you could get is a guy like Sam Langford, who was a middleweight but very barrel chested. So he's as big as a heavyweight up top, but he had very small and thin legs. So his body weight wasn't that high, but his upper body strength, he was like a heavyweight from the waist up. That kind of freak of nature type of stuff going on. He was able to go from middleweight to heavyweight. But even then, you can't compare it because they wouldn't give him a chance. They would never give him a chance at a shot because they weren't letting black fighters fight for heavyweight fights. So what my point is that Floyd Floyd was selling himself. I don't care what Floyd is, just selling himself. He can sell himself till he's blue in the face. Good, cool for him. Hold on one second though. Jeffrey Brooks in that super chat, man. Much love in that super chat. Said if Bud beats Spence, will you get Spence? If Bud beats Spence, will you get Spence a reason for losing? Because his injury be the reason. That's why he needs to fight before a big fight. If Errol Spence Jr. loses to Terrence Crawford, it will be because Terrence Crawford beat him. I don't know what you want me to say. They would have to fight before I said what I think, man, about why he beat him. Most likely, if Terrence Crawford beats Errol Spence, I will say he was the better fighter because that's what happens. Or it was a close fight, and I think Errol Spence Jr. won, and Terrence Crawford got the call. Or I could say Errol Spence Jr. threw his back out in the second round, and they had to stop the fight because he threw his back out. What I'm gonna do if they fight is I'm gonna say who the winner was and what I think about the fight. I don't make excuses because my guy loses. Don't do it, okay? I don't. If Terrence Crawford beats Errol Spence Jr., I'm gonna say he beat him, point blank, period. And then I'll talk about the fight, and I'll say, hey, there needs to be a rematch. That was a bad call. Or I'll say, oh man, wow, he's a way better fighter than 8. I was wrong. But I'm telling you right now, dog, I don't get a lot of fights wrong. Telling you, I don't get a lot of fights wrong. I do not get a lot of them wrong. And that style for Terrence Crawford, I'm telling you, is trouble. And I've not seen any fall off on Errol Spence Jr. Didn't see beat Danny Garcia, came off that car accident, beat Danny Garcia, easy breezy. Easy breezy. Didn't look like it was a tough fight for him. He said he wasn't at full strength. That's probably true because he did have a massive car accident. You know? Jay Broomfield said it's only been 4 or 5 undisputed champions in the last 25 years. Yeah, because it's easy to become a title holder and extremely difficult to become the champion. I'm not going to say it's easy to become a title holder. That's not true. It is easier to be a title holder now, much easier than to be a title holder now than it was in the 1960s and the 1950s and the 1940s. Much harder. And plus, even to get a shot, you had to fight all those guys that are good enough to be champions today. Like, when you look at Henry Armstrong, do you think about it? If there's one champion, and today there's 4 champions, that means if you fought today under the same situation, there'd be 3 guys that are champions that were not champions that you would have to fight to get to that belt. If there is only one welterweight champion and Errol Spence Jr. was it, Terrence Crawford would have to fight his way through some combination of fighters that include Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, Jaron Ennis, and every other top welterweight that there is. They would have to fight through those guys. Today, in order to be undisputed for Canelo, even to be champion at 160 pounds, would have had to fight Jamal Charlo. If Jamal Charlo was in the rankings, right? He'd have to fight the guys in the rankings to get there. They had to fight better. They had to fight better competition to even get a shot at the title, man. And y'all can't tell me you don't see that. That is blatantly obvious that is the fact. That back then you would have to beat. It's harder to get a championship when there's only one belt. That's why when Ali beat Liston, they're like, I shook up the world because he's the only champ. He wasn't, who else is the champion? Is what's his face the champion? Is Ugas the champion? Not Ugas, what's his name? Usyk the champion? Now that's reasonable to mix them up. But anyway. He said, yeah, they used to fight 15 rounds. Exactly, man. I'm telling you, they softened it up so they can make their Hollywood guys champion. So it would make it easier to sell the fighters that they wanted to sell. So there's more belts now. So whoever you like is the real champion. You know what I mean? How many black fighters did Armstrong fight, Fannon? Man, I don't know. 90. I'll take a wild guess and say he fought more black fighters than Floyd Mayweather has fights. I don't know. A lot. I'm pretty sure a lot of them. You know, but I don't know, man. I didn't look. Never researched it. Jeffrey Brooks said, Bud is a different type of monster than Danny. Much love in that super chat, man. Holding down the chat, man. He said, Bud is a different type of monster than Danny. Me personally, I think Bud's ability to change styles of fighting will be enough to get past Spence, just in my opinion. He's gonna have to deal with it, dog. But yeah, I know he's a different monster than Danny Garcia is for sure. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Fannon, I didn't get noticed. What do you mean, John Moore? You didn't get noticed with what? You didn't get no. Man, I read a lot of comments, man. Pound for pound, I'm the #1 comment reader in all of boxing YouTube, okay? There's nobody channel that you go to that is reading more of your comments than I'm reading, all right? Let's just be real, okay? So don't guilt trip me if I miss a comment, because I read comments for like 2.5 hours, all right? I'm going almost exclusively off you guys' comments. So just leave comments, man. You know what I mean? I don't ask you to do super chats in order for me to read what you got to say. You know what I'm saying? I don't. Even though if you want to leave super chats, I appreciate them. 100 miles an hour, I appreciate them. And I will definitely read your comments if you have a super chat. Unless for some reason it skips by me. The $1, $2 ones like skip by me. He said, because you're reading minds, Fannon, a king. I don't know what you mean. Hey, DJ Red said, I'm watching Armstrong versus Lewis Ames right now. Dude just stayed in your chest, man. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot to what a dude is staying up in your chest. Exactly. That's why I'm saying, okay, Floyd. That's what I mean. No disrespect. You just can't click on the fighters' names that exactly, because they fought 100 years ago, man. Because they fought 100 years ago, man. You don't know. That's what I'm telling you. Look, man, just let me make another argument for you, all right? Another argument for you. If there are, just say there's 100 welterweights right now. 100 world-class welterweights. 100. And I think that's kind of high right now. But just say that there's 100, right? The top 100 fighters. And when you're coming up, you fight in the top 100. Because I think that's pretty safe to say. Guys like Floyd and those guys, they start fighting right off in the top 100. Then they may move to the top 50, and then they get into the top 20, and then they'll fight guys in the top 30, and then they'll get there, right? But say there's 100 guys, right, on any given year. Go back 200 years and add those fighters together if there was 100 of them. Now you're talking about 100 quality fighters that Floyd had to pick between, right? 100 quality fighters that Floyd had to pick and had to fight versus 10,000 of them that were before him. Just because he's better than the 100 that are around when he's around does not mean that he's better than the 10,000 that were around before he was around. You see what I'm saying? That's what I mean. Like, just the very virtue of of time passing and there being so many fighters that come and go, you don't know how good these guys are relative to each other. Some people say you should never compare the past and the future. To that, I don't know, because I think you can see certain things in the way the guys fight and the styles that they fight and all of that stuff. But just to willy-nilly say that some guy that fought in the like Joe Gans, that if you put Joe Gans in a ring today with a guy like, I don't know, Monster Inoue, that just because Joe Gans fought in the turn of the century, and Monster Inoue fights today, then Monster Inoue is going to mop Joe Gans. Dog, you don't know that. First of all, I've seen tapes of Joe Gans fight. Joe Gans is fighting in like mittens. I mean, the gloves he fought in were mittens, and the inside shots that he's fighting in a phone booth, and the body shots that he was throwing were nasty. But it's tough. I get all of that. Anyway, Deborah, you still there, man? We still friends? Deborah, I want to still be friends. I do. I don't think what you say was you're a Floyd fan, and I got it. But that's what the live stream is here for, man. Unlike what certain lying people talk about. Oh, this is an agenda-driven channel. You have an agenda. You have an agenda. You're biased. Nah, man, I got an opinion. That don't make me biased. Okay? That don't make me biased, dog. You're biased against Floyd Mayweather. You think that Henry Armstrong is a good fan? Man, get out of here. None of that, man. Say, hey, Alpha Net Aldar said Mayweather the GOAT, Deborah. Yeah, man. But there's also a thing Deborah could have said is that 3 belts at that time was considered undisputed. But it wasn't. Not according to the media. Not according to Dan Rayfield. You know what I mean? And that's whose opinion matters. Powerhouse Watson said, nah, you ain't biased, you just old school. And let me tell you, man, y'all are old school too. Turn around and look at them 18-year-olds. All y'all, what y'all, 30 and all that? Man, y'all better jump on the old school bandwagon, dog, because y'all old school too. Let me tell you, because my son thinks Drake is ancient. Like, my son was like, I asked my son, I was like, do you think Drake is old? He's like, Drake is old. Like, Drake is old. A lot of these people, they old. They're going to be rolling. I'm telling you, man, they got cats running behind Devin Haney, man. Devin Haney doing a good job getting that bandwagon behind him, dog. Oh, dog. I be laughing, dog. He said, I'm 30 in 1 week. Exactly, man. You better jump on this old school bandwagon. You can remember the 2000s. Can't you? You can remember let me tell you how you know you old school to them kids. You can remember 2010. If you can remember 2010, if you can remember being there, Drake's my exactly, man. Black Fawn said, Fannon, Professor X of this boxing channel. Man, I be having fun, man. This week, I enjoy this. That's why I stretch the live streams out, man. I enjoy it. He said, John Moore said I'm 51, so you know. They are all trying to push some stuff. I can't wait, too. I can't wait to the next wave after all this rainbow colored stuff calms down. I can't wait. As I'm telling you, man, these dudes going to be like into bestiality or something and saying it's cool. Oh, hey, I'm a dog. I'm really a dog in my heart. In my mind, I think I'm a dog. I had surgery and I put hair on my back. I had a hair implant. I'm a monkey now. You know what I'm saying? Put an artificial tree. I'm not. Yeah, get out of here, man. You know what I mean? I am Deuce 52. DJ Errol Alert said I'm 46. Howdy for now. 52. 52 years old, man. Blackfire said I enjoy every second of the live streams. Thanks, man. I appreciate it, man. I'm trying to tell you, man. I've been through it, man. I'm telling you, I've been through it. You go through your 20s, then you go through your 30s, you go through your 40s, okay? My mother and them, I talked to my mother who's in her 80s, and I'm telling you, when my grandmother and them were in their 90s, dude, they say different, we live in the same time, different age, man. And you guys are going to be living in a different age than them little babies walking around, and all y'all wind up doing all that talking, dog. You know what I'm saying? You guys do around all that talking about you're old. Man, yeah. Now 5 years has passed. What you feeling like? You know what I'm saying? I was an OG 5 years ago. Were you? But now that you are one, how you like it, dog? How you like it now that people looking at you when you 30 years old and you know damn well you ain't supposed to be in that club? Take your ass home, go to bed, get ready to go to work. How you feel about that? You know what I mean? Now that they might start looking at you a little funny. I love them young dudes, man. I always talk that crap till you get older. And all of a sudden, you ain't want to say too much, huh? Pointing fingers at people about what they doing at 30. Look what he's doing. He's 30 years old. Look what he's doing with his life. Why you 18? And life ain't hit you yet. You know what I'm saying? Oh, God, he's 49. He's 50 years old. Look, he's 50 years old and he's still working. Like okay. Get through your 40s first. Get through a couple, what do you call them? Have a couple depressions drop on your head. You know what I'm saying? Have all the jobs go away because somebody bombed the towers or something. And then see how that affects your life. You know what I mean? While you out there judging people. Because you're young. And the world is promised to you. I'll wait for you. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be right there waiting for you, provided God keeps me healthy. Bud is the new top man. He got to prove it, dog. No doubt about it. He said, CG Cap said, I'm trying to get through the 30s. Yeah. Them teens were them teens were kind of cushy, weren't they? I ain't gonna lie, dog, and I ain't putting no fingers in nobody, dog, but I'm telling you, man, them teens and 20s was kind of cushy, man. Kind of cushy till you got to raise kids and you like, God, dog, this shit goes on forever, man. You know, I still got a kid I got to put through college. J Bag said, it's a blessing to make it to your age. Salute family. Where I'm from, you lucky to make it to 30 years old. Exactly, man. And in relatively decent health. You say DJ Air Alert said, life gets crazy. Yeah, man. Life gets crazy, man. Real crazy. You just don't know, man. Don't know what's going to happen. The best you can do is be the best. Is the best you can do. Hell yeah, that shit. The mental health is very real for men, man. You never know when that shit go sideways. You know what I mean? Because it's so stressful. That's why I was worried about Dave. That's why I'm worried about Dave Chappelle, man. I'm telling you, man, they putting that on Dave Chappelle, man. Dave, I saw that he's doing a comedy special, shaking scotch in a glass, smoking. He's self-medicating, man. He's stressed, man. C. Cooley said, for now, I'm 58. Yeah, man. Exactly. I'm trying to get to 58. Life been crazy. Yeah, man. Absolutely, man. Life has been crazy, man. You have ups, but you have ups and downs, man. You have ups and downs. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has them, too. Even if they want to lie and act like they don't have them, dog. Everybody has them, man. Everybody has them. You know what I'm saying? Said facts, they on Dave Strong. Yeah, man, they on him real. Man, I think today it'd be a good time for him just to chill for a couple years and not fight it, man. Just let them people do all that talking, man. You know what I mean? Let them do all that talking. Take your money, stay with your family. You know? Period. Do small shows, make money, and leave all them cats alone, dog. You know? Because all they're going to do is keep running at you and running at you and running at you and trying to get famous off of running at you. You know? DJ Red Alert, if it's nothing you want, it's nowhere to be. But if you read your books and stay positive, you'll be all right. Yeah, man, I'm trying. Staying positive is very important, man. You know? Richard Hill said, nothing wrong with chilling in the cut. Nothing, man. Sometimes you got to, dog. Sometimes you got to chill, man. Just, whoa. That's too much. Like, too much. Too many people going at you. Too much nonsense, dog. Sometimes you gotta take it a cut. Or if you don't, it'll take a cut. Because I'm telling you, man, it was tough on me earlier this year. I'm very straightforward about that, man. Whole lot of people were just attacking me from all kind of angles, man. Like almost every angle. Devin Haney, for Devin Haney were attacking me for Devin Haney. People are attacking me for Teofimo Lopez. People are attacking for Tyson Fury. You know, it's just like, man, y'all just let me take a month off and clear my head, get myself all the way back together, man. And I feel a lot better because I did it, man. It cost me a lot. But sometimes you just got to chill. And that's what I wish for Dave Chappelle. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just got to, oh, yeah, man. Very real, dog. Absolutely, man. And then I was taking medicine, and the medicine didn't sit right with me, man. So I was saying stuff that was kind of goofy. You know what I mean? But it is what it is, man. Sometimes those are things. And when I was 25 years old, coming out of law school, making a bunch of money, man, I would have never thought looking forward like, oh man, dog, life would be that hard. But you learn, dude. You know what I'm saying? But then I got a cat that I went to law school with. Dude got bone cancer, man. You know what I mean? Like bone cancer. Looking for a transplant for bone cancer. So it's like, man, it ain't too good to be pointing fingers at people, man. No matter where you are, man. And there's a lot of cats that literally didn't make it, man. 50 Band said, hey, what's the next you're going to, Fannon? I don't know what you mean. The next what you're going to. TD Harden said, I'm 47 and some days I feel like throwing the towel in. Yeah, man, don't do that, man. Go see. When you feel like that, dog, you got to go see a therapist. And because I'm serious, therapists, black men probably don't like doing that, don't like going to therapists, but you should do it. Because a therapist, what they'll do is they'll give you some tools to learn how to deal with it. Like what do you do when you feel bad? You know what I mean? Like, how do you put it in perspective? How do you keep moving forward? Right? Like, it's important, man. Therapists really are very good, dog. I went to see one, man, because I was so depressed. And they gave me tools. They're like, hey, man, think about it this way. Or when you're really feeling bad, think about it that way. And it really helped, man. It helped a lot, man. So when I get down, I try to think of 5, 10 really good things that make me feel better where life is going well. And not necessarily, letting everything hang on things that aren't going well. You know what I mean? 50 Band said, what's the next fight you're going to? I don't know, man. I'm not going to no fights till this COVID shit's over. I went to the Errol Spence Jr. fight with Danny Garcia, and I went to the Errol and I went to the Javonte Davis, and I went to the Javonte Davis fight. That's it. I'm not doing no more. No more until it's no more until COVID is all the way done. When COVID is done, then I'll start going out there. Tori Sims said, "You live and learn. You make mistakes, and you will learn from them." Yeah, man, and that's tough for me. I made a lot of mistakes, man. I never want to sit up here and act. I hope I've never given anybody the impression that I'm perfect or even think I'm remotely close to perfect, man. I am very fortunate in life, man. Make good money. Make good money, can pay my bills, got a beautiful wife, got a beautiful family, and all of that, man. And I'm just trying to make sure I keep it that way and get myself in a good position for when I get older, and just keep grinding, man. CG Cap in the building. Oh, Fannon, Deborah's apologizing. Where's Deborah? You ain't got to apologize, Deborah. Where you at? Let me go back. Deborah said, I did apologize. I'm a woman, and I did apologize. I'm sorry I was wrong. Do you accept my apology? I like you. I like that. That's why I catch you regular. I'm like, oh, man, I told you, Deborah, you ain't got to apologize to me. You did apologize. I did ask for a little bit of apology, though. But that's all right. No worries, Deborah. Absolutely. No worries. Matter of fact, let me look here, man. Let me look. See, there you go, Deborah. There's your wrench. Deborah, you are now moderated. You are now a moderator. So there you go, man. Black Fawn said, Fannon, I'd like to see you and Brian Custer collab on some boxing topics. Yeah, that's my frat brother, too. That'd be dope. I would love it. I don't know the setting. I stopped doing that, too. I stopped collabs, man. I stopped collaborations. And maybe I'll go back to them. I don't know when I'm going to go back to them, though. But I stopped collaborations and everything, man. Stop watching people's channels, all that stuff. For a while, dog. All I really did was come to talk boxing to you all. I didn't join YouTube to talk boxing to a bunch of other people that are ambitious as I didn't never like people that are ambitious towards growing their channel and have marketing, all of that. That's not what I really came for, man. I really came to have people that I could talk boxing with. You know what I mean? And it got complicated. The bigger the channel got, the more complicated that got. And, so I just don't want that, man. I want to be able to enjoy talking boxing. I want to get on when I want to get on, get off when I want to get off, all of that stuff. You know what I mean? DJ Red Alert said the mission is to live your best life with less stress. Yeah, man. There you go, man. He said you'll never see a live fight again for none. Yeah, hey, man. God dog, man. You ain't lying, bro. I don't know, man. But I'm not going to be sitting up. I don't like crowds anyway. So it's on the real, I don't like crowds anyway. So me sitting up there in a crowd of people, I've never really felt comfortable with a crowd of people anyway. And coming in and coming out. I've watched so many fights on television that I don't mind seeing fights on television, Now it's different seeing them up close and seeing it personally, definitely. But honestly, man, it's not that bad watching on. It's not that much better ringside for me. Not that much better. It's better, but it's not that much better. You know what I'm saying? Black Fawn said, Fannon, I appreciate you, brother. Your boxing knowledge is second to none. Man, I appreciate that, man. But look, I'm going to get up out of here, man. Much love to everybody in the chat, everybody in the super chat. Thank y'all for riding with me. And with that, we said, when you took time off, me and my husband missed the OG boxing talk. That was our church for now. That's what's up, man. Yeah. One day I'll get back to OG boxing talk. That was really cool, man. That was fun. You say your channel is encouraging to the boxing fan, and you don't try belittling anyone. Nah, if you don't come at me, I ain't gonna come at you. You know what I mean? I don't, because I don't want all that, man. When I belittle people, when I talk bad about people, it makes me feel bad. You know what I mean? Like even like that Devin Haney stuff, man. Like I know there's a lot of people that really like Devin Haney. So when I point out that Shakur gonna beat Devin Haney. It makes people feel bad. Anyway, man, it is what it is, man. And with that, oh yeah, I'll get you 50 bands. I like you 50 bands. Hold on, 50 bands. Man, come on. I don't see at the end. Oh, there you go. All right, there you go. All right, there you go. But anyway, man, I'm going to get up out of here, man. Much love to everybody in the chat, everybody in the super chat. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.